Do you want to
Audio test.
Is it oh, it looks like it's getting pretty good over here. Can y'all hear me on y'all's?
Yeah.
You can hear me good?
Yep.
Yeah.
What about on that one?
Yeah, I can hear it pretty good.
I can hear
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear it.
Is it good? It looked like you got, let me turn yours down just a tad bit. But
Just put
So-
that one in the middle and then turn it up on the receiving, right?
what do you mean?
So that we can both talk. 'Cause I don't want to just be us and like you just.
No, I'm well,
Oh, okay,
like
cool.
the way we've been doing it is if somebody's got, like, cause I do, it's called Satcher Nate's Talk Show. Nate is my dad.
Yeah.
So usually, by the way, this is Satcher Nate's Talk Show. I'm here with Dalton and Micah, and we're just having a good old time, having some wine and beer, and about to smoke some cigars out here on the back deck. So normally my dad is going, like, me and him will share a microphone, and then the guest, whoever that is, will have the other one, so that, because there's only two. And so if he's got something to say, he'll just be like, hey, psst, and wave to me, and I'll pass him the microphone, or he'll just start talking and I'll put the microphone in front of him and he'll have to start over. But yeah, that's
That's the way it goes.
that's the introduction. Welcome to Satcher Nate's Talk Show. So we're what were we talking about? Dalton, Micah, y'all. I guess at the start I could say this is always have a good time hanging out with y'all, whether it's fishing or, I think most of the stuff we do with family done is like fishing with family and just going to dinners and stuff. So we don't get a chance like this normally to hang out and like smoke a cigar or have and do something like this, but I'm excited about it. So yeah, we've I'm afraid we've already probably covered every topic that we could before we started this, because it took me so long to set it up. But
I mean, we usually don't. The last time we were fishing, I didn't really get to hang out anyway, because as soon as we started to go out in the kayak, I started throwing up, so we immediately spun back around.
the beach.
So wasn't much
I was
of
thinking of
anything.
when we went with Luke and it was just shore fishing
Oh,
on
yeah.
that little creek.
Oh yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Yep.
We did catch a shark though in that kayak.
Yeah,
That was cool.
You did catch a
We
shark.
barely got out there, and then
Spun back around immediately
yeah,
because we weren't really sure what to do with a shark in a
yeah, we
kayak.
pulled
so.
it up close to the kayak, and we're like, "That's a freaking shark!" So
Yeah.
I let a lot of line back into the rod, and we just drug it to shore. And then once we got in and got the kayak out of the water, we reeled it in and just like kind of held it up for pictures and stuff. But yeah, we did not want to bring that thing into the boat with us
No,
in a
no.
kayak.
You know what kind of shark it was?
It was a little bull shark.
Yeah, it looked like a bull shark.
Those are mean.
Yeah, I mean,
A little baby though,
Yeah,
so it
it
was
was-
feisty.
it was probably about
and-
2.5, 3 foot, I'd say probably. So it wasn't like terribly small.
No, it was pretty.
It wasn't like.
It was like a small dog,
Yeah, it
almost.
was like
or a
definitely.
medium, like Nash.
Yeah.
If Nash was to start going crazy and trying to bite you.
Yeah.
Now that I
be
think
like
about
that.
it too, it's probably not a good idea that we just turned around with the kayak and started going back towards the shore, where people were probably swimming in that area, and kids close to the sand or like the water edge, and we're just dragging a shark back to the beach. Like,
Yeah. We're like, get away! We have a shark.
as I'm puking coming back in. So like it was just like pretty much you pedaling, like rowing the kayak back to the shore, dragging a shark, and I'm throwing up off the side of the kayak. So I literally wasn't doing anything. So it was pretty fun for a good whole 5 minutes. For me anyway. You might have had a lot more fun than I did. I unfortunately get quite seasick, so.
That is not a good thing
No.
for fishermen.
No.
So in the one that me and you did, we were talking about like going to special ops and stuff.
Yeah.
I was just asking, or wondering. I'm about to ask. I'm not asking yet. I was wondering, Dalton, if you had, when you were working in the Army on the helicopters, like, did you ever go on any missions where you were flying with the crew or whatever?
I've flown with the crew a few times, and of course I got sick on that as well. So after
That's not what I was asking.
So I've done it a few times, but I didn't go on any missions or anything. I had a few friends that did. Got to do some pretty cool things with some Navy SEALs out of New Mexico,
Yeah.
and they were talking about how different things were for those guys than it was for us. And you would think they would go through a lot like more terrible conditions. You would think they'd just be in the suck all the time, like everything's just terrible for them because they just got to get ready for anything type of thing. But the guys that I personally know, a real good friend of mine, was in New Mexico with them, and he said that the Navy SEALs would just walk around in just cargo shorts and flip flops with beards, just like
Yeah.
a dude. Like you would just think of a college dude.
These are the contractors or the SEALs?
No, these were SEALs. They were
So they don't-
running their missions.
So they're the ones running the missions, but they don't have like a dress code or anything.
I think
They're
they
dress like civvies, or is that because of their mission?
No,
like
no,
the
they-
nature of their mission.
no, they
have
can-
to look like they can blend in.
No, they do what they want, from my
They just get to do
understanding.
what they want.
Like, because nobody is gonna go up to, like, if you see a guy that's just jacked, like you think of a college athlete, like you see that guy around like a military base, like with a beard, he's jacked. Typically, I'm like, I don't think I should say anything to that guy, because if it turns out to be someone a lot more powerful than me, or if anybody I know could personally say something to them guys, they probably just laugh at me. Like, honestly, like, what are you talking about, man? Like, who are you? they're as tough as it gets. Like,
So for me, like I know all, like, not all of those dudes, but like all of that community, because that was what I wanted to do for so long. So I got to know a lot of those guys that are trainers. You know, they're in the pipeline. They train the guys at SEER and things like that, and you know, PMC workers and all that. But like, one of the inside jokes with all the special ops guys is that, like, they'll go out in public and they'll pretend like that they're blending in, so to speak. You know, they all pretty much have beards, like you said, and they all wear like a diver's watch, or they'll wear like a G-Shock.
Yep.
And it's a stereotype almost.
Yeah, I mean,
for
it kinda
these Spec
is.
Ops guys. Like, they
Cheap
all look the
watches or-
same. So what?
Cheap watches is a
No,
stereotype?
G-Shock watches and diver watches. Like, that's what Spec Ops
Just
guys.
like a Walmart watch.
Well, G-Shock is kind of expensive. It's a tactical watch, you know, because it's like waterproof and stuff like that. Divers watches are like those silver ones or like the gold ones, that are just good for like going underwater. They can withstand a lot of pressure. That's why they're called diver watches. But like in the Spec Ops community, that's like what they all wear, because they always prepared, you know. And someone will wear it like backwards on the wrist, and it's like,
You know what
dude,
that's for?
like, I know you're trying to be like in civvy clothes, but it's like everybody knows
Yeah.
you're in Spec Ops, or like you're a PMC.
Yeah.
And it's like they pretend like in their mind that they're not, you know, sticking out like a sore thumb, but they don't blend in really anywhere.
Well, I will say this. Even if you don't know if they're military, the guys like that are definitely a little more intimidating than like just a normal
Oh,
dude,
yeah.
even if they're in civvies.
Yeah.
You add, like, if they were in uniform, we'd be like, out of your way, sir.
Yeah, well, I
Like,
think it's more like
go ahead.
like for them, or what I meant at least, was like they're trying to be covert. So like they go
Right.
out in public, they want to be the gray man. Nobody,
Right.
they don't want to get noticed by
The only
anybody.
way they stand out is they're built.
Yeah, they're huge.
Especially in America,
Yeah.
because a lot of boys are like, or a lot of guys are soy boys, or whatever they call them, and they're just
Soy boys, yeah, or Sarm
so
goblins. if they-
compared to a Navy SEAL who's gonna be thick like a freaking action figure.
Oh yeah,
There'll be an obvious difference.
or like Marine Raiders. Those guys are all like just tree stalks, like just stumps. They're just thick boys.
yeah, it's crazy because you see them and you just kind of have a feeling like
Yeah.
that's somebody that does something pretty significant. Like,
Oh yeah,
like you just have a feeling that he's pretty jacked, dude. Like, he looks like he's in pretty good shape. But you would think that they'd be in like the worst conditions, like constantly,
Do
like
you have
just
any
trying to
jack
put them through.
dudes in boot camp? when you were going?
Oh
through?
yeah, we had. Oh man,
I had a dude in mine who's like a actual, like, competed in bodybuilding.
I had one guy. He's actually a ranger now. He got his tab, and I went through a basic, and he just like excelled through everything, like he had been training his entire life. And it's weird for me because like you
Like
go
the
through
natural
it.
athlete or
Yeah,
whatever.
like the only thing I ever did was play a little bit of college baseball, like a little bit, and realize,
In
holy
high school,
crap,
though, right?
what's that?
In high school, didn't you play in high school?
Yeah, I played in high school, all years, all 4 years, and then I played
Just baseball, or
just baseball, and then I went to college and played 2
You're
years
still
in college.
athletes.
Yeah, but
But it didn't.
the
carry
training
over
did
to boot
not
camp very
carry. No, I mean I guess it somewhat did, like running. That's about it.
well? A
But
team sport, like the mentality.
yeah,
of,
yeah,
we're all in this together.
Yep.
Maybe.
type of thing. But for me, it kind of like I went into it kind of like blind. Honestly, I had a few friends that joined well before I did, and they all do like the sucky jobs. Like some of them are MPs and whatever, infantry and whatever, and they would just tell me like, hey, dude, if you're not doing anything right now, you kind of hate what you're doing, job wise. Why don't you join the army? I was like, I haven't ever really thought about it, but all
I
right.
left my home.
Yeah,
to
just
join
kind of
the army.
just kind of went with it. No exercise. I think I ran once before I left with my mom. Like I ran with my mom, like, and she's clearly not in good shape. So I was like, well, this is not very much of exercise right here. Like, so
This is training.
because I
If it's
left.
anything like this, it'll be easy.
Yeah, like I'll be able to walk a few laps and jog. I get there and I'm just like, holy crap, I'm out of shape, man. But like, I was not nowhere near as bad out of shape as some people. We had some people that couldn't even do a push up, and you'd see
No
that same.
way.
Yeah, I'm not exaggerating at all. And
Like, were they like big bodies?
no,
Or, like,
he was a
just
skinny dude. Like he was probably 125
Couldn't
pounds.
do push-ups?
He couldn't do a single push up.
What was
Oh, my
his
goodness.
What was his reason for like wanting to join, like college?
Yeah, I
or
mean, what,
He-
you go
he was
in the
homeless.
Military, you think you'd
Oh, homeless.
He was homeless.
Okay.
He was living out of his vehicle,
That
I
makes
guess,
sense.
which
'Cause
technically be his
the
house.
Army will give
Yeah.
you food, shelter.
See, like my
Structure.
thing is the only
Jeez.
thing I dislike about like the spec ops community, at least, or the guys that'll like
Get a little
join.
closer.
No, you're good. Is the guys that'll join thinking it's gonna be like Call of Duty.
Oh
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, basic military is a whole different thing. Like, it's mainly college, or it's like, I'm just not really sure. Like, let me figure out my place in the world type
Yeah.
thing. And like, I get that. For a lot of people, like even me going to college, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just knew I wanted to do military for the longest
If you're
time.
not good at being molded into what they want you
Yeah,
to be,
no,
you
you're
have
never-
to be a good actor.
You're never gonna get like into it like
there's
the
either,
way
there's
that they
two
want
ways
you
to get into the military and do good. It's one, be a good actor.
Yeah.
Two, you just have a manipulative mind.
Yeah,
Like, people can
48 laws of
manipulate
power.
you easily. Yeah.
That makes me question which one of those I am, because I still to this day do not know which type of person I am.
Well,
I
did you
didn't-
enjoy kind of like what you were doing?
No, it was I wouldn't say I enjoyed it, but it was pretty cool to get to do some of the things I
Yeah.
got to do. Absolutely, like I wouldn't have been out of the
I
country.
could see the Israelite army when they were going into the Promised Land and they were like taking
Yeah.
over, and they were going into battles and stuff. Like, what's that guy's name? In Judges, the Jephthah, he raised an army.
Mhm.
There's another dude, Gideon. He had like he had it whittled down because there were men who were, so there were.
He made them do like the drinking.
There were different tasks
out of,
that
like, the
the Lord
water with the
had
hands and
Gideon
stuff.
do. Yeah, so they
Yeah,
were like,
yeah.
they were. He said, have the men drink from the stream. They go over to the stream and like half the men get down and
Drink
are
like dogs.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
drop their weapons and shield, and they're just like, oh yeah, water. Oh my gosh, and they're sucking it up. And then there's the other half of the group is just like looking around. They still have their weapon and shield, and
Yeah.
they're like cupping a little bit and like getting sits at a time.
Yeah.
And I think about that a lot. Just like, what kind of man am I? Am I the kind that's like, maybe the internet's that stream that we're drinking from? Am I going into it with like looking around and still alert, or am I just like drinking like a drunkard, or what do they call it?
Like a dog. I would
Maybe
think,
like a dog,
Yeah,
or like
yeah.
not. Yeah, when the dog's eating,
They're
still kind of aware of what's going on around them, though. You can still freak them out, because sometimes I'll like pet them while they're eating, and they'll jump when my
some
hand
dogs are like
touches
that. They
them.
don't like it when you mess with them when they're eating. But
Yeah.
I have probably two things that I think about the most, like just randomly, is growing up playing football and my English teacher from 6th grade, Miss Thomas. She's a really old lady, and like looking back, like I love her. She was the best. At the time, didn't like her, but like she would say something like when you would pack up early before the bell, and like this always perturbed me when other teachers said it, but for her, like I was just like, it's understood. Like she's like 80 years old. Like it's just, she's not gonna change. It is what it is. And it's like you don't leave, like the bell doesn't dismiss you. I do, and you don't pack up until I say you're done. And she would always end it like that's what most teachers would say, and then they'd be done. Like it was just like a lecture with no meaning. She would say, it's like you're salivating dogs waiting for the bell. I can see it dripping from your lips. And like she's an English teacher, so like of course she's gonna make it fancy and add the whole shebang to it. But like that stuck with me like all the time. It's like never be like eager to like get your way, like be stoic in the mindset you have behind it, and it looks better. Now you might want to leave and pack up and like get out of there immediately. I get that. Or like you might want like a promotion at work or like whatever, but like if you think about it methodical, just like they did back when they were taking the promised land, like those men that were sipping the water cupped in their hands instead of sticking their face in the water and drinking like dogs.
Dropping their weapons.
Yeah, it's just like it's a respect thing almost for you. And then like I had the same thing happen like in football. I'm sure everyone had it happen in sports. You playing baseball or whatever, like you're doing suicides, running laps, whatever it is, and like you got your head down, your hands on your hips, like it's just not a good look.
Oh yeah,
it makes you look tired, and it like makes the coach think like this guy's not ready to be on the field.
Unless you're in some Asian cultures, if you show tiredness in some Asian cultures, it's a good thing because it means you're working hard.
Well,
like there's some like maybe Japan. I may be wrong about that, but I think it's Japan where they if the boss is coming around, instead of acting like they're working,
they sleep.
They'll act like they're taking a nap. I don't know if that's true or not. I just read that on the internet.
Would be interesting. I could see it. Japan's culture is so different. I know for a fact though, because
you want another beer?
Sure.
I'm gonna grab a beer
that's fine.
this time instead of doing that.
Yeah, stock
Do you
up.
need this glass?
Restock.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and do that.
No.
Yeah, I 100%. I just seen something on the internet not long ago that Japan, like that whole culture, like their work ethic is like completely different, like
so
than
different.
ours. And the picture that I'd seen online like really hit me pretty good. I was like, wow, this is weird because like I catch myself like I guess not being as appreciative of what I have life-wise as some people. I feel like I'm very fortunate compared to some people. And the photo that I'd seen was a guy at a train station in I guess subway type deal, and he was passed out at the top of the stairs with a suit on with his tie, and the comment below said that he done that because he had to be at work earlier than it would, or he wouldn't have enough time to go back home and be back at the office before the next day even began. So
that's huge in their culture because like Shibuya, golly, I can't pronounce the words for the life of me. Whatever the train station is, they like close it off at a certain time. It's like if you don't make the train, like you're just gonna sleep wherever.
Oh yeah.
And like if you look it up, like Japan, like businessman sleeping Japan or like whatever on Google, I actually did it after I saw something like that. I think it was like TikTok that like made me look it up. And like there's thousands of pictures of like dudes in like very nice suits, you know, Ralph Lauren, whatever, you know, a very nice American suit too. You know, you know it's nice.
Yeah.
And like they're just like sleeping on the floor or like on the hood of a car or like wherever, and it's because like their work culture is like huge. But like me, like I never watched anime growing up. I always thought like Dragon Ball Z was like stupid because my dad said it was stupid because it was on one time on Nickelodeon and they just yelled at each other for 5 minutes, and I was like, yeah, it's dumb. And so like I never got into it until COVID happened and one of my buddies got me on it. And like you like watch anime and you understand like how different their culture is, because there's some weird stuff in there.
No, there's absolutely some weird stuff.
But there's like such a precedence on grades. Like they have like every anime you'll watch, they always talk about school, cram school, high school, middle school, like getting good grades. It's so important. But then here in America, you grow up watching like Johnny Test, where it's like boogers, farts, and getting bad grades.
Yeah.
And it's like
and your sisters,
the culture,
females in the show,
Yeah,
are
yeah.
the smart ones.
Yeah, yeah. And it's
doing
like
all the experiments.
it's like you just leave it to like your, you know, your sisters or like whatever or whoever. Like you leave it to someone else to get the work done,
Yeah.
or to fix your problems.
Yeah.
And it's like that's the consensus like kids take away from the show, whether they realize it or not. And then like at the same time, like even like growing up, like I had blonde hair as a kid, and I was like, I love Johnny Test, it's hilarious. It's like, who cares about grades? Like I get it. Like I get where other people would get that idea because I had the same perspective.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, what even is school? Like, let me go have fun instead. And it's like for them, it's like you bring shame upon yourself, your family, and your ancestors.
Yeah.
So it's like no, you're gonna succeed or you'll be nothing.
Yeah.
And it's harsh, but you see it in a different light, and it's like their culture is like so successful in a lot of things. Like they have the bullet train, they have all these like great amenities.
Talking about Asian culture?
Well, Japan
Japanese culture
specifically.
specifically.
Yeah. But like Asian culture in general too.
Yeah.
Another thing too is like
Samurais.
well, I was gonna say Africa. Like African culture too. Like a lot of like the people that are from Africa that come here that are like real like they have the thick accent, you know, like they might not be able to speak English well, or maybe they do, you know.
We
whatever.
come to America.
But like they want to work, dude. Like they want to perform.
Dude, yeah.
They
the
want to
American
send money
dream.
back to their
I mean,
family. They
for
want
people born in America.
they're
if
so
we-
ungrateful.
For sure, ungrateful, and then and also taking everything for granted.
Yeah.
We don't appreciate what people did and what people sacrificed for us to be able to do what we're doing now.
Yeah.
And especially with our phones, like that I feel like should be a bigger deal. The slaves that are producing our phones, with
The
cobalt
lithium mines and cobalt
Lithium,
mines. Yeah. Yeah, those mines are
They're still slaves
intense.
today. Everybody's like,
Well,
it's
what
not racist.
Yeah,
it's just
it-
slavery.
Yeah, it's in different like forms.
It's so
People
bad.
are like slaves to internet, nicotine. Like there's multiple.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I admit it. I'm a slave to nicotine. Like I am extremely addicted to nicotine. Unfortunately.
Well,
Like
If we didn't have cigars right now, I'd be chugging on a vape.
yeah, like it.
I think nicotine though, like it's a different perspective. So like you got to think about it from caffeine. Do you know how many Americans drink coffee like every day
Oh,
in the
yeah,
morning when
like-
they wake up? And it messes up their REM sleep too. Like if you drink coffee within the first hour of waking up, I mean you can look it up. It's on Andrew Huberman. He talks about it all the time.
90
He
minutes,
does all
hour
these
and a half.
neuroscience studies. Yeah, it's like 90 minutes to 60 minutes before waking up, you'll mess up your REM sleep for that
Or
same
after
night.
waking up.
Yeah, you have to wait an hour before
Yeah.
drinking coffee, because that's when your body will like wake up on its own, and then that coffee will give you a boost, and it'll last, and you won't crash at 3 p.m. every day.
It has something to do with like when you wake up, there's
Mhm.
still something there's like some kind of chemical that's binding to another part of your brain.
Like a brain fog type state.
Excuse me.
Or
And
status.
it's like, yeah, almost like a brain fog. It's this chemical that makes you sleepy, and then it takes about an hour and a half after you wake up for it to wear off.
Mm-hmm. Well,
But if you drink caffeine before then it'll just suppress that.
yeah.
But then when the caffeine wears off, you still have that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why if you wait an hour and a half and then have the caffeine, there won't be that like leftover sleepy chemical waiting
feeling,
for you when
yeah,
the caffeine
wears off. Yeah. Well, I think too, like a lot of people take melatonin also, and melatonin's like not just like a supplement; it's like a hormone disruptor. Like it changes
Nicotine
like,
and alcohol.
Oh, it's
hormones,
terrible. Like I struggle with sleep issues like quite a bit. Like
Yeah.
like we were speaking about earlier. I have sleep apnea, along with possibly narcolepsy. Like I haven't gotten tested for it.
Just not diagnosed.
Yeah,
yet,
I
but
haven't been diagnosed
all
with
the
it.
symptoms are kind of there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm extremely addicted to caffeine as well. I guess I have an addictive personality.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm just weak-minded. I mean, possibly. I mean, there's
different factors.
yeah,
at
like
play.
you could think
Yeah.
like, because I feel like if you can control your mind enough to like, anybody can do anything you want to do as long as you put your mind to it. Like if I
Yeah.
wanted to quit it, I would quit it, but I haven't got to that point yet to where I want to quit.
Yeah.
But absolutely, like I'm kind of went off on a tangent here, but like kind of speaking of like the caffeine type thing,
Yeah.
as y'all are speaking about, like when you wake up, got to that point. That's first thing I do in the morning. Usually, this is terrible.
It's like, let me find that caffeine.
Yeah, like it
I
at
need
first for
something
me
to
was
wake me
Mountain
up.
Dew.
I need some
Mountain
stimulant.
Dew.
Yeah, it was Mountain
Really?
Dew. Like I was so addicted to Mountain Dew.
For me,
I
it's
quit
the
it.
vape. Right early in the morning, I just
Oh, yeah.
hit the vape.
I
Yeah,
think-
this is terrible. Like I'll first thing I do, I'll wake up, go to the bathroom, brush my teeth, put some deodorant on, and as soon as I walk out of that door to get ready for work,
Let me get that dew.
I take a swig of my Dr. Pepper.
Okay.
Now it's Dr. Pepper for me because I quit Mountain Dew for the longest because I
Does
quit
Mountain
it.
Dew have a lot of caffeine? Because I thought it was just high in
see.
sugar. I didn't think it had that
I'm
much
gonna Google.
caffeine. Now, I know Coke and Dr. Pepper, like all the brown drinks, have a lot more caffeine, or at least I thought. I could be wrong, but Mountain Dew, that's a first for me to hear.
Like I think I was just addicted to it.
Yeah. I think the sugar would be the addicting agent as well as the caffeine. I find that strange, or
It's
for
probably
your,
sugar.
for
Actually,
wake up.
it's probably sugar
Yeah.
that hits me that I'm addicted to. So it's got 54 milligrams
yeah,
of caffeine. So
That's okay. That's a decent amount. So like a cup of coffee is like 60
let's
milligrams.
see.
Like espresso, I think it's like 90 to 100
I gotta get a picture
of what.
of this
Mountain
for the
Dew.
cover for
Oops.
YouTube.
Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah, a little.
So like
You don't want in here. There we go.
Get one with an arrow.
But
yeah, like I would wake up. Now it's Dr. Pepper.
yeah,
So I'll wake up, go to the bathroom, whatever, blah blah blah. Go out, step out of my bedroom, go into the kitchen. I'm like, where's the Dr. Pepper? Where's it
Yeah.
at? I'll take a drink of that, then immediately throw a dip in.
let me ask you this: if there's Dr. Pepper sitting out on the counter and there's none in the fridge, will you drink the one sitting out on the counter? Like, are you someone that generally drinks cold drinks, or like, do you not care?
I do not care.
So you'll drink it regardless.
The crazy thing is when I buy a case of Dr. Pepper, like this has
I'd
happened
rather
multiple
keep it
times.
warm.
I don't think that I would rather have them warm. I think I would prefer, like I personally think that I would prefer them cold, but it gets to the point to where I want a drink of like Dr. Pepper
Dr.
so
Pepper.
bad that I do not care
You don't-
that it's cold. So I'll end up setting them beside the refrigerator,
Yeah.
right beside it, to where I can easily grab one and throw it in the fridge, like,
Yeah.
and get them cooled off to where they're not like
So
like I bought them out of the store and just cracked open the box and drank one.
I would definitely say you have an addiction there.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Like me, I like thought I was addicted to Coke. I can take a break from it like whenever, and I usually do. I'll go to like San Pellegrino's and get like the pomegranate one that has like 7 grams of sugar, and it's like nothing, you know. Like club sodas I like, but most of them have like Teflon or something going on right now, like Perrier and a couple other ones, so I try to stay away from them. But like Coke, I just remember like there was a Coke sitting like outside, like in the cardboard box that wasn't cold, and I like woke up and I was like, man, I need some caffeine, and the Coke was sitting there, and I was like, but it's not cold, and I was like, I'm good. I'm just gonna drink water and suffer through the day because I was like, I can't drink a cold Coke. And I was like, I don't think I have an addiction to Coke if I can resist that simply because it's not cold. Like if I was addicted, I was like, I probably would have like just shotgun that sucker just right there and then. But I know I have an addiction to caffeine because I take pre-workout probably at least every day, and like depending on
Are you
whether
taking pre-workout even when you're not working out?
No, only when I work out, but I work out every day. I don't take a rest day anymore.
I'm like working out all day, so I'm like drinking
Yeah.
all day.
If I don't work out, I won't take it.
It's
but
not while
like
I'm not working out, but
I'll
it's
feel
not all day.
I'll feel draggy that day. Yeah. I don't go out of my way to get caffeine though, which is weird because I know I'm addicted to it. Like there's no way. I guess my body's just like accepted the fact that like I'm not gonna go out of my way for hardly anything. But like today, like that Red Bull that I had before coming over here, like I would have been like, whoa, you know, coming over here because I didn't have any pre-workout today, and I didn't work out today, and I woke up late and started drinking at 11.
You needed some caffeine to be able to.
I needed some caffeine to like be able to like cognitively like perform. But back to
Perform. You mean like
well,
hanging
cognitively.
out
Like,
is performing?
for me, it is. So
You are an actor.
I am super introverted.
If you went into the military, you would be like there's some that are.
Oh, I don't think I could get to the
You'd
military.
be the actor.
I don't think I could get in anymore. No, I would be an actor because
You just be able to act the part.
yeah, I can act the part like nothing, dude.
That
Like
I can
I'm
But I also don't have any discipline at all.
when it comes down to it, like I would do questionable things for Constitution and country. You
For
know,
country, yes. Unconstitutional things for the
No, no.
Constitution's sake.
well, yeah. Okay,
doesn't
that's
make
what
sense.
I would
The
do.
Constitution has things in there that
I would do
make it
morally
defendable constitutionally.
questionable things to defend the Constitution and country is what I mean. So like I wanted to do
Yeah, I could
PMC
see
work.
that.
I didn't care
Well,
for
police have that's a
Spec Ops.
God-given right by God
what do you mean?
to the government police work, and like judges and the court system. That's a God-given right for the political system to have like innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah.
That's a biblical concept. That didn't.
But
they
what
don't
is
have that in other countries.
Oh, yeah.
That's a Western and like in
That's a
another
Western
podcast we had,
ideal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my grandfather pointed out that Christianity was the springboard for Western culture. So America today is
Well,
it's like
it
founded
was-
on biblical principles.
It was founded on
like
pilgrims
innocent until proven
that
guilty.
were
We're getting away from that, where you have to prove yourself innocent because you're assumed guilty.
yeah.
Just, I mean, in some cases, based on the color of your skin.
Well, I think so. Let's backtrack. Let's backtrack that a little bit.
Yeah,
I think
said a lot.
that was a lot. That was a lot of information.
I went, like I covered a lot of different.
Yeah, a lot of different
Things
subjects at once. I think so. Like pilgrims when they came here, you know, Mayflower, all that yada yada. They were looking for independence from religion because the king at the time wanted to divorce his wife, and
King James.
the Pope or whoever wouldn't allow it. He's like, that's not right. You shouldn't
No,
force
maybe
it
it's not King
just
James.
because.
Is it Philip? King Philip? Who wanted to marry his
I can't-
sister or something?
I can't remember, honestly. I just know he wanted to divorce his wife, and he couldn't get a divorce, so he started his own version of
He
Christianity.
couldn't get a divorce because the divorce was.
It was just because he didn't like her. Yeah, he was like, I'm done with her.
But I mean, like Steven Crowder. Have you heard of what's going on with him?
I haven't.
Louder
I know
with
that
Crowder,
he
y'all
is getting a
watch that?
divorce. I don't know what all the details are. I just saw a
Steven
video
Crowder,
yesterday.
Louder with Crowder. He was, I think, was it, what's that? Not Breaking Point, not Fox, but the other one that's like,
The podcast
with
or
Ben
something?
Shapiro and
Yeah, the Daily
Jordan
Show.
Peterson.
The Daily Show. With
Daily
not the,
Wire.
Daily Wire. Yeah. Daily
Yeah,
Show's Trevor
so
Noah.
Steven
My bad.
Crowder, I think, was in negotiations with the Daily Wire about like coming and doing a job there, but the problem I think was they didn't want to offer enough or something, and maybe the stipulations he wasn't going to be able to say, like he would have had more notes or whatever. It wouldn't have been his show, maybe. And but I don't really know. But the other thing that I was listening to, I think I've plugged it on here before, but the Apologia podcast, or not Apologia, that's another good one. Plug to them too. But what's it freaking called? It's Fight Laugh Feast has a network on Spotify, so it's like a radio show. You get different podcasts,
Like
during the
different
week.
subjects, but under one host.
It's a network, so they post different podcasts throughout the week.
Yeah.
Like on different days, they'll have like Up and Ready.
Are they
with a Bible
podcasts that they
verse.
own, or are they just different episodes that they liked? And
They
they're like, let me
like
feature
them
you?
and
Okay.
feature them,
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
And maybe they have like a contract or something where they make a little money by doing. I don't think that this is like a money making. It's more of like
Publicity.
It's. I don't think it's for fame or for publicity. I think why they're doing it and why I'm doing this is for just information to get out that would be helpful for people that are like, what the heck is going on in America or otherwise in the world,
Yeah.
and to just be like, okay, so here's some normal guys who are living in the same world I'm living in, talking about it, and they have a positive outlook.
I see what you're saying.
And it leads to Jesus.
I think
leads to the gospel.
I think that's huge, and I don't know if you understand.
I don't know if Steven Crowder's doing that, but that's why he wanted that freedom, I think, is to be able to say whatever he wanted to say. And then, but his divorce, like the show that I was talking about, the Cross Politic is a show that is on the Fight Laugh Feast network.
Mm-hmm.
Cross Politic is awesome. There's I don't know if y'all saw the drawing in there. I made like a little comic book cover for him.
Oh yeah.
But I was up feeding Jolie and just got bored and
You were
started
like,
drawing.
I
I was working on perspectives and ended up drawing a gun that's like looking at you with the barrel real close. So the barrel's real big and then the handle's small and whatever. And the gun has like accountable to you, which is their app, which is supposed to help with my problem is that I start like 3 different topics at once.
Well, let me go back on one thing you just said that I think is really important. Like them featuring, like you said, to sum it up, like average Joes, like just people talking.
There's a lot of people out there who are just working. They listen to podcasts. What are they listening to?
Yeah, and I think
the news,
which
is just negative.
Well, I think
day
it's
in and day out.
One thing that's huge, and I don't know if you realize like how like monumental it was that you said it, like featuring like everyday Joes or like the average American or the general public.
Yeah, we're just
so
hanging
to
out,
speak.
doing what people do, having a cigar, having a beer, some wine.
It's so much more impactful to everyday people because they are everyday people. Like, don't get me wrong, I love listening.
People.
Yeah, like I love listening to like Joe Rogan or Tucker Carlson or even Trevor Noah. Like I listen to everything so that I don't just get one side. Like I like to hear it all, whether it's right or wrong. I don't really care. I want to make my
stays
own.
Pretty balanced.
Oh yeah, he's pretty balanced.
The only reason though is that he's on board with the gay marriage.
Well,
he's not on board with people being,
I
or
think he just-
pretending to be a man, or pretending to be a woman, I mean,
in men's sports and stuff.
women's
Yeah.
sports.
Or women's sports,
Like
yeah.
a man pretending to be a woman and not telling people and fighting
Yeah.
other women.
Well, that one
and then
cracked that other
destroying
lady's
them.
skull. That was bad.
I mean, it's I mean,
Yeah.
it's not that's not what we're supposed to do.
but like,
But I think he
For-
stays pretty balanced because he's got that, like, he's not perfect. None of us are, but I think that is one of his flaws. Still, is like he wants to believe that there's a God, and that I don't think he's all in on the Bible, and that could be. That's probably why he's got this issue.
I don't
'Cause
really know
you're
if he
all in
has a
on
clear
the-
stance.
No,
Does
he doesn't.
Yeah.
Not that I'm
But
aware
if
of.
you're all in
I
on
think
the
he's
Bible,
kinda-
you've got a historical account
Yeah.
of the beginning of the world. You have a historical account for like people having a savior and a gospel and a king who's on the throne, like capital T, the throne,
Yeah.
the world's throne. Jesus is sitting there, and I don't think he's on board with that. Just because, like I said earlier, science can say that we're millions of years old, but they don't know. I mean, the scientists.
Well, carbon dating
is
is terrible, and that's what
Yeah.
they base a lot of it off
There's
of.
so many issues with the scientific, like follow the science.
Yeah.
But the more you actually follow the science, the more it points to there being a creator and a designer to this all, which I think is why Rogan is kind of like torn and maybe balanced between the two, is because he has recognized that like there's got to be something bigger outside of us who's designed all this.
Well, I think he has. I think he's
it's
kind
just-
of agnostic. I think he believes that there's some. I don't know. I think he does though.
Gave us
Believe there's
tobacco.
something.
I mean, what kind of? He loves us.
You talking about God giving us tobacco?
It's a plant. It came from a plant.
But you don't like tobacco.
Weed,
You
tobacco.
you like
the
nicotine.
Freaking. No. If I wasn't addicted to nicotine, I'd still do this just for the tobacco.
Just for the flavor.
I mean, it's awesome. The nicotine vape is another. That's a separate vice.
I think nicotine can be good in a
Moderation.
moderated, cultivated manner. So I know a lot of guys. Wall Street 101. They're
You mean in a way
they're-
that doesn't kill you?
No, well, yeah. Well, nicotine doesn't necessarily kill you.
But
Tobacco,
the vapes do.
tobacco, and
vapes will
hard
kill
metals. Hard metals.
Is
So
that the
vapes
batteries
have
and
they have copper and titanium and metal alloys in them, and
Yeah.
when the coil heats up, sometimes the particulate breaks off and gets in your lung, and that's what'll mess you up.
we need to
It's
talk
not
about
necessarily the
This is
juice,
nuts.
and it's not necessarily the nicotine in it.
Okay.
The nicotine's just the addictive factor.
that. Can we? Okay, so what
But
if
it's a
you
f-
get?
it's
what
a
if you had,
brain-focusing drug.
nicotine gum.
Nicotine gum. So that's what I was about to talk about.
Is
Was
that
I-
good?
Yeah. A lot of guys I know,
Okay. They get their nicotine that way.
well, they stay up and they want to stay focused and they like watch these
Little
lines move
nicotine.
and these numbers,
Yeah.
and nicotine just wires their brain.
Bro, if I have to
make
go to
them
school, when I was
super
in school,
focused.
nicotine was the thing to help me actually focus. When
Oh
I'm-
yeah, it's
if
super
I'm
good for
gonna be-
focusing.
if
It's
I'm
so good.
Reading or something,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
dip is like it helps me just like
hmm
garner everything that's in that book.
Yeah.
It's
Well, I think
awesome.
there's a lot more people that are ADHD or like a substrate of that, some kind of form. It might be even a new quote unquote disease.
Disease
I
or
don't know
just,
if I
like,
would consider
There's
ADHD.
nothing new under the sun.
Well, I don't know
Right.
if I'd consider that a disease.
But if
I
you
think it's
take
just
the
an
Bible-
abnormality.
If you take the Bible as like, all right, this is the standard and this is how the world works,
Yeah.
and we're gonna go with the Bible as the like the standard for everything, I guess.
Yeah.
Then Solomon said in Ecclesiastes, "There's nothing new under the sun." So like, can we do anything? Like, is there anything that we are doing now that hasn't not technologically? Because obviously, now that Jesus has come and set a new, he's on the throne now. It's not Lucifer on the throne anymore of the world. It's Jesus.
Yeah.
So history's got a whole new, like, we were going one way and now we're going a whole nother way.
Yeah.
And so
After the resurrection.
and
is what you mean.
that like exponential growth or whatever that people like to talk about
Yeah.
when it comes to technology is obvious if you think about, well, yeah, if there's more people becoming Christian and learning about Jesus and reading the Bible, then they're going to be creative and be more like their creator and do good things with a creative mind
Well,
and build stuff.
well, how about this? Let me double back on one thing you said about
Double
just before I forget about it.
my mind goes.
You're
I'm,
good.
Like, going in
You're
100
good.
different directions.
I just wanted to focus on like the podcast we're doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think is so much more impactful than a Joe Rogan podcast or someone else, because those are people you're never gonna meet. Those are people that are like Hollywood. They know all these people.
You mean it's more impactful for you,
for,
or just
for
in general?
average Joes, like just for
Anybody who listens to
anybody that listens, because it's like this is like someone like I can relate to. It's more relatable, and that's what like
If
I
we
just
talk
thought
about
of
our
when you had brought that up. Yeah, it's like you're not, and like everyone's special, but like you're not like this like egotistical celebrity special
I wanna
type
try
person.
If you don't mind, I'll let you try.
You're
this
more
one.
welcome to try this
That's a
one.
Romeo and Juliet. My dad really likes that one. He really also liked this.
That one smelled the best,
Blue.
to be honest.
Yeah, that one I think is pretty good.
Yeah.
I've had this one for a little while, but the shape is a little bit different than the other ones I've gotten. So I just wanted to try
That one's
it.
more like a typical cigar that I see
I'm gonna
when I'm playing
do
poker
a
and stuff. But
spit wet.
but like that was one thing I wanted to focus on, was like just like a podcast like being just casual. I feel like so much more is taken from it because it's so much more like relatable, and it's like there's no agenda behind it. It's just people talking. You know what I mean? Whereas you get to like these celebrity podcasts.
Man,
Have you ever seen like the
that's
Impulsive?
nice.
Yep.
Jeez, the one I have is like half of that.
Yeah, this
Holy
is
crap.
this is pretty good over here. That's why I haven't really been saying
Yeah,
much over here. I've just
man.
been kind of hanging out,
Holy
just
cow.
Just
puffing on
chilling.
the cigar. Yeah.
I mean that one. That's the one. Like I was like that one's probably gonna hit.
Well, I can't really smell too good, so I just kind of took whatever one was handed this
Right.
direction. So I
That
guess I got the
one's-
good draw on that one. So
Yeah. Did you? Because this one's cut. Did you cut this one, or is it pre-cut?
No, that one, they're cut on the end. You're supposed to light.
Yeah.
Over here,
did you
where
cut
it's
this though, or was it pre-cut?
No, it's pre-cut.
Okay. Yeah. So like that one right there.
Oh, it was rolled and was
yeah.
it cut?
Yeah. So like when it's pre-cut, like it's like that's like a low to mid-tier cigar.
Mm.
When it's not cut at all, that's how you know it's like a high tier,
Mm.
or at least higher. Now there are some that are trash, obviously, because it's a marketing scheme.
I'm gonna
But
smoke the rest of this dreaming about that one. My goodness.
that was funny. But what were we talking about though before I doubled back, so to speak?
So shoot, man.
Because I lost my train of thought on
Podcasts
that
and
one.
how this is, like the way we're doing it now is good for
like average
Average
yeah,
person,
yeah,
person.
the average
And
person
I'm-
listen to and not think
I'll
there's
be honest, that's like when I
too
was
much.
thinking about,
yeah
I asked my parents for this equipment for my birthday, and I knew when I was about 20 that I wanted to do this, but it was more like on the afterburner, and it was
yeah.
I don't
I'll get to it one day.
well, not I knew that I would get to it, but I also at the time was thinking I'm not at the point where what I have to say is going to be not just entertaining but
Mhm.
worth listening to,
Yeah,
because I'm still so young.
yeah,
But like I've met people who are like 18, 19, 20, 21, and
Mhm.
they're I mean just they'd be able to hang with this conversation
yeah.
and be
They'd be able to digest what we're saying. and, like,
entertaining. They'd be
yeah,
and not saying that this is like some sort of high intellectual conversation, but just
no, because
That-
I'm in this one. So.
but just that they would be able to participate where normally it feels like, I don't know, my younger brother's 18, and it's like sometimes it's difficult to get him to focus.
Converse.
We've been talking for 50 minutes now.
Oh, I could go longer. No.
Well, yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
saying we have
yeah,
to
no.
stop, but that just that it'd be like 20 minutes maybe for him is a long time.
He's checking
for him
out.
to sit down and talk about something
Well, I think it's
with substance.
sustenance or substance behind it. Yeah, I think it's a culture thing too. I think our generation stepping into like TikTok and things like that. Like attention spans are crap. 15-second,
Yeah.
30-second videos you swipe, and if it's not good in the first 5 seconds, you're on to the next
Next
one.
one.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like
Nah,
your
that's
attention
it for
span
me.
is shot,
But
and your dopamine is
It
ruined.
messes with the attention span,
Yeah.
but you can find what you want to watch a lot
You will,
quicker.
you will, and the For You algorithm that TikTok has,
The algorithm
I just want to kiss
is
it.
nice.
It is
if
amazing.
It is good
It is so good.
if you get it to work for you.
I
If it's
think it works
working-
really well for me.
Yeah, I had to.
I don't know about
I had
I
to
don't know about
delete
y'all.
Instagram because
Well, Instagram
the algorithm
It's
on there,
different though. They use a different one.
I clicked on, I guess, some like yoga videos or
Oh
whatever.
yeah, and that ruined it.
Well, they popped up everywhere, and then I would keep watching them, and then it was just all my feed was just.
I
Like
had the
hot
same
girls
issue
and yoga pants.
with
And so-
Instagram. I watched one video of I think a baby duck or something that Mario had sent me. Next time I went on Explore, all baby animal videos. It ruined it. Like all my bodybuilding, all my nutrition,
yeah.
all my like science and stuff that like I liked watching, gone. It's out the window. It's just otters and baby ducks and baby cats for the rest of like the month.
I have my YouTube set up pretty good, and then I also know like if I hear something interesting, I'll search for it,
Yeah.
and then those videos will start coming up. So like
Yeah.
what you search for too.
YouTube's usually pretty good. I like the algorithm that they use, whatever it is.
And if I end up like, let's say I end up clicking on a video that's like kind of sexual or whatever,
Mhm.
it does a good job of not.
Consistently putting that in your feed.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of it's like clickbaity stuff too. Like it'll say something and be something completely
That's everything on
different.
YouTube.
Yeah,
That's why I like
that's all it is.
what
The
I'm doing
thumbnails
is just
are the
putting
most
number
important thing.
and me and the person I had on the podcast. And
Yeah.
I'm not gonna like. This is what we talked about. Oh, like we talked about freaking Elon Musk being a Jew or whatever I said.
This
earlier.
is some nonsense that'll
Yeah.
get people to look at it. Yeah.
He owns Apple. Elon Musk owns Apple. Like that would be
The secret figurehead behind Apple. You didn't know.
yeah.
But what if
It'd be the clickbait title.
what if you're like, are you? So for this podcast, are you just wanting someone that just so happen? You know how you just stumble upon stuff, like you just
Yeah.
you pull up on YouTube, TikTok, whatever, Facebook. You roll into a video reel, and you're just like, holy crap, that was pretty cool. Are you
Yeah.
wanting it to happen like organically? Like, are you wanting people to find your podcast?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Pretty much like
Like
they
and
just stumble
share.
upon
The
it.
people
You don't
that
want to
know
like.
about it at this point. I think I'm at like 9 views at the highest video, and that was because I sent that one out to people.
Yeah.
Half the views I think are just me listening back to them
Yeah.
because, I mean, I like the people that I have on. I'm friends with and like they're
Yeah.
close to me, so I like listening to it
Mhm.
to just remember what they had to say and like kind of, I guess, not just think about the podcast, but think about what they were saying, and then because a lot of times with like my dad and with my grandfather, when I listened back to it, I realized stuff that they were saying that.
And you were
was-
able to like think about it more.
Well, it was for me, but they weren't saying it in a way that I would get that it was for me.
Yeah.
So
Kind of like a time capsule.
Yeah.
it's-
Like
Yeah,
that
it's
makes
pretty cool.
sense. Yeah, like something you can like keep a reminder of the people that you spent the time with at that exact moment, and you
Yeah.
can look back
that's why the picture's
later.
cool too.
Yeah,
to go
absolutely.
with the cover.
Yeah, absolutely.
The
Like you can
video-
look back and see whether
We'll get
whether
to
the
the video
conversation
sometime,
was
but-
terrible or whatever. You were just rambling the whole time. Like it doesn't matter because at 10 years down the road, something happened. And I'm not saying anything happens to any one of us. I would never wish something like that. I'm just saying like if something happened to one of us, like
Yeah.
like whether you were on a podcast with I was speaking my instance for the podcast's sake. Like if I was on a podcast with my father, brother, sister, whatever, and something happened to them later down the line, and for me, I'm quite an introverted person, so like stepping out of my comfort zone to like sit down and speak with other people takes a lot from me to do that.
Yeah.
But it's good at the end of the day, because if something were to happen later down the road and you didn't have very many memories of that,
it was hard to remember.
Yeah, it was hard to remember things. You could pull this up, no problem, and be like,
Just like
sit down and listen to an entire conversation with that person or that group of people.
I think it's impactful just to hear their voice sometimes too.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, because like back in high school, I had this goofy podcast in my calculus class. We called it interracial math, and it's because it was me, the one white kid, Latino kid, an Asian kid, and a black kid.
White, though, so
yeah, I was the white kid.
kid.
I was the white kid. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You were the token.
Yeah, I was.
I thought
the,
you're saying it was you, the one.
No,
white kid.
no.
Like,
It was
wait,
me,
there's
the
two
one.
White kids.
No.
The one white kid. You're white. So you were the one white.
I
kid.
was the one.
Gotcha.
But like I'll go back. Like I think we had like recorded like 4 episodes, and like to this day, like the jokes weren't that amazing, but like being there and listening to it, like I can revisualize it, like see their faces and stuff. Like times change, people change, and things like that. And I'm sure I hope they're all doing well. I've kept up with a few of them, but you know, not too great. I'm really bad about keeping up with people. I wish I'd do better about it. But like it's so nostalgically like appeasing to like go back, and it's like, man, like we were tight, you know, like we had these inside jokes, you know, and it's like things like that. And I could only imagine what it would be like for like family members and things like that. And like, you know,
well,
like
for
they're still
10
here.
years from now, I mean, we'll all have like,
oh yeah,
y'all have at least 2 kids, maybe more.
The rate I'm
Maybe
going
like
right now,
5 or 6.
I
Y'all
could-
have like
I thought you were like on the
hopefully 4.
Mormon plan, you know, just pop them out as
No. He's a man of one wife. That's a
well,
man
okay,
of
yeah.
biblical
I
principles.
forgot about that.
No, absolutely. Like I'm extremely devoted to my wife. Like
I meant more like they just in their perspective, you have as many kids as you possibly
no,
can.
I got what you're saying.
Yeah,
Like, 100%.
not the second wife, not the third wife, none of that. I
no.
forgot about that.
If
A
something
lot of those
worked,
kids end up not being Mormon though. Have you ever noticed that?
Oh, I don't
They
think
leave the Mormon faith.
any
Yeah.
of them.
Like,
It's like Amish.
Amish,
Yeah,
yeah,
like,
the
once
Amish
they get
community.
out, they're done. They're like, I'm not going back to that.
with the Amish, they get that. What is it? The chance at I think. Don't quote me on this, but I think at 16 years old, they're given they're given that
Like a trial.
that opportunity to go out of their community where they've grown up in. They know nothing but the Amish community and how the culture and that.
And see
Yep.
what it's like.
And most of those
then-
kids go out and do absolutely wild things
and
I
they
think
don't
at
come
16
back.
years old, and they do not come back to that community because they're like, holy crap, there's more to life than this community that I've been in.
Yeah.
They get out and they're like, oh, I could make a bunch of money and have a ton of fun.
I'm not doing this for free. What? There's money?
I'm not churning butter anymore.
Like
There was a TV show.
But
where they used to do that.
I will say this: the men that choose to stay, and that, because in Indiana, we were building a freaking, I don't know what it was called, like a tire shop, and they had Amish people come in to do all the framing. And they were in and out in like 3 days.
Oh,
and
absolutely,
had the whole thing built because they showed up with a
Dude.
van and they had like
Everything
15
they did.
Amish
They
guys hop
kill
out.
it.
Yep.
They kill it at building things.
No,
Dude,
absolutely.
So the skill, there is skill involved with that, and so
Yeah.
like that's. I mean, we can't just throw that aside.
Oh no.
Like there are other people made in the image of God with they've learned incredible skills So
Well, I think Amish
I don't know.
like
I don't know where I was going with that. Maybe
just
we
to
should just be
complement
careful to
their
like how
skills.
we can make fun of them because they're missing out on a lot of good stuff, like
But are they
making
though?
podcasts and crap.
Are they?
Are they? Are they missing out on? a lot
Well,
of
no,
stuff?
no, no. Well,
I think they're
that's
missing
a good
out
point
on some
because
things, but like they're
I
also being
think they're-
protected
they're-
from so many other
well,
things.
yeah, but you can't.
They don't
like,
use
technology
internet.
Is a part of
Yeah.
technology is just another reflection of God's design. Like in us, we're able to make these awesome things, and then it's just a reflection of Him because we're made in the image of Him. He created this,
Yeah,
so it's no wonder that we can create other awesome stuff,
I actually just
like this computer and all this equipment to capture our conversation. We're able to create
Yeah.
stuff like that because we're made in the image of a awesome creator.
I actually just remembered what I was going to talk about since you jogged it by saying that. Like
You ever
With-
seen The Princess Bride?
what?
The Princess Bride.
No.
He like the you know the there's like three characters in there that are like the main characters, or four, I guess. But it's the princess, it's the man, like the masked man, the
Like
princess
the Phantom of the
groom, I
Opera
guess.
type thing.
Sort of.
Yeah.
And then there's this giant, Andre the Giant, and then there's what's his name? Inigo Montoya. He's a Spaniard.
I don't remember. No, I don't think I've ever seen that.
So he goes, they're trying to interrogate this guy, and he goes, "Physic, jog his memory." And the guy is like
Yeah.
Andre the Giant. He's this like enormous dude. He comes up and
Yeah.
boom, knocks him on the back of the head, and he just knocks out and goes down. And then he's like, "Sorry, I think I jogged him too hard." So jogging your memory made me think of that. But
Yeah.
What was it that jogged your memory? What jogged your?
What
How did-
you
what
had
was
talked
going
about was previously the advancement of the human race or technology, so to speak, for God. I want to kind of counter that, not in a disrespectful manner or anything like that, but I think. So the idea behind liberalism and conservatism is to stay the same almost, and liberalism is to advance or to be set free, so to speak. And
Tell me you're a liberal.
no, I think
We're about to go fight in the yard out
well,
here.
I think that
We'll do some
conservatism
jujitsu.
at the same time, like everything that we've progressed to today, to God's name, to glory of God, but at the same time, I think a lot of conservatives also prevent things from advancing. You know what I mean? Like Elon Musk,
That's where
so to
I
speak,
think-
wanting to go to Mars. I think a
Yeah.
lot of conservatives are against that in
Well,
a
probably because we have
religious
so-
sense, because
but-
they don't want people to die. They don't want their bodies to be on Mars.
I can relate.
You know what I mean?
Well, I understand that, and I can relate. I don't know if you can. I mean, just borrow his mic.
Yeah, snatch that.
I don't know.
So
Let me see
loud.
if I can.
Uh,
Oh, he's back.
he's back.
I'm gonna just borrow this. Your
Yeah, we scooped that. That boy.
So, shoot, man, this sounds good.
Is that some more steak?
Yeah, I've been doing this whole
It's good
podcast without headphones on. That feels.
It
that's
feels
nice.
weird. It feels good. It's strange.
But you can hear where everybody's at.
You can.
It's-
You can.
Here.
Well, no, you probably should keep the headphones so you can hear, because like we can 100% hear him because
No,
he's
I
got
can
his
hear
own
you.
mic. I meant like the mic, like so you could hear the audio. But
Oh, yeah.
continue with
Well-
what you were saying about
It's probably better for the guests to be able to. I got a pretty good idea. I'm watching this.
the
If I got good
mic volume.
spikes on the audio, then I know I'm at least in there. You know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can
But,
hear you with the headset, but so like we were just talking about. Dalton just came back, but we were just talking about how like Christians inadvertently prevent the technology from advancing. So I remember back when Pastor Chris was talking about Polar Scope or Kaleidoscope, whatever it was that streaming service that you could see anything going on around the world, and that was right after that was the 2.0 of Skype, so to speak, and that is in Revelations. That's like a sign of the end time, so to speak. So I think a lot of Christians, not that they
Sign
don't
of the
want,
end times.
well, not that they don't want Christ to return, because that's the best day ever. But I think they inadvertently, because I do myself sometimes, like, I don't necessarily want things to end. Like, I'm a fan of some secular things. Like, I love Star Wars. Like, I would be sort of sad if he came back tomorrow and, like, I wasn't able to play Jedi Eclipse or something like that.
Let me
But
throw this out. Star Wars is only good because it follows a storyline that can be related back to the best story ever told.
Yeah. It's definitely a branch off. Oh, yeah.
Creator of its people coming down to die for them in order that he can have fellowship and communion with them.
Well, I think
to be able to, the fact that we're able to sit here and because of the Holy Spirit we can communicate with Jesus on his throne, and he rules the world. He owns all this.
Yeah.
So the land that we're sitting on is mine, but it's just because he gave it to me.
Yeah.
It's his.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because of him that I'm
able to
the caretaker
enjoy it.
of it. Able to enjoy it.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I don't know. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, no, I mean, extremely grateful, not to be like disabled in any means or have anything that prevented me from being who I am today. And even for all the trials, like, I feel like they've given me a lot of perspective on life and like changed my mindset to the degree, like, I am so happy that like I have the mindset I do today. Nothing bad about it. But like,
How do you think it's changed? Oh, sorry.
Well, we were talking about like Mars and things like that. No, you're good. We'll get to that. But like,
Squirrel.
Yeah, exactly.
We were talking about how like Elon Musk wants to go to Mars and how like some Christians are kind of against that because they don't want human bodies to die on Mars. Like, when Jesus comes back, theoretically, he's supposed to raise all the bodies from the dead, and it's like, would that include the people that died on Mars? Like, let's say we did colonize it, would they just be left there like in eternal slumber? Would they go to hell? Like, how does that work? And like,
I feel like if you know God and you
but like,
repent for your sins, technically wouldn't you
go to heaven?
You go to heaven?
Exactly. So the other concept behind that, because like I said, double-edged swords, I said that a lot because a lot of things are, is that forces Jesus to come back sooner than he would have.
Yeah.
So let's say that wasn't even an idea. Let's say we never wanted to go to Mars. Well, 2050 comes around, or whatever it is, when Elon's wanting to go to Mars, or when he's capable of doing so to colonize it. Well, maybe we get 100 more years on Earth because of that, because there's no reason for him to come back yet other than, sin in the world and things like that. Like, it's its own momentum behind it. It's like almost forcing him to come back sooner than he would if we didn't go to Mars.
Yeah, but I have like
I think go ahead.
I have some, I guess, contention.
Yeah.
With the whole rapture idea.
Yeah. What's going on there?
Well,
like, what do you think?
Because I think that we're gonna be here a lot longer. I think we're still part of the early church.
Really?
So like early history. I think, the world could be around for thousands of years. Considering what's going on right now, and considering the gospel and what Jesus came and said and did.
Yeah.
Then he changed the trajectory of history, but we also have a lot of work to do as a church, as Christ's body. We have a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
And so I don't think history will end until we finish that work. Because he said every knee will bow and every tongue confess that Jesus is Lord. So I feel like until that happens in history, we have a lot of work to do.
But I think your logic is
Slightly
not flawed, but
You want to
maybe
take a sip of that?
confused.
I'll finish
Sorry.
off.
No, but like what I might not be understanding you right. So you're saying that every tongue shall profess and every knee shall bow
That's in the Bible.
before he comes back?
Yeah. Well,
Because
Because
no.
at
well,
that point,
at
you're
that.
at
so
that
it
point
could
everyone's
be,
going to be in the rapture,
yeah,
right?
The point. So, yeah, you
Or
gotta
am I wrong? I
the-
might be wrong.
you gotta look at God's word like it's sort of
Yeah.
timeless.
Yeah.
Although there are chronological time
orders and
periods that you can relate
key
different,
points. Yeah.
like passages to, it affects people across history.
Yeah.
So like we'll be talking about the Bible 1,000 years from now because it's the truth.
Okay, so
the truth
let me
always will prevail.
let me
And the
let me
reason
pause
that,
you right
like,
there though.
The reason we have books is
Yeah.
because of the Bible.
But
The Bible was the reason that we had the printing press made, was so that more people could read the Bible.
So let's
The book, like
let me
having it
ask
like
you.
that
I just want to know what
is
your perspective
way more,
is, though.
like efficient than a scroll.
Yeah.
With, like the whole book down to like 15 feet of scroll. You might have like 3 books maybe, but that's a lot of scroll. You're not gonna open that up in your house and like find a passage on the like last 3 feet of it.
it's in the bathroom while you're in the kitchen.
Yeah, a book is so much easier. You have the page.
Oh my
you have
gosh.
page numbers.
Okay.
One. You have a chapter and verse that was
But,
added
like,
in history. It's
in-
not accurate. Like
in your mind, so in 1,000 years, because Elon, you know,
In my
I don't
mind, in
know
1,000
his
years.
mind. In 1,000 years, do you think we'll be on Mars? Because Elon, like the things he's pushing out, he's
it's
thinking
a
within
good-
100
It's a good.
or less.
So that's. I mean, it's interesting for sure. And like, if I could,
Do you think, like, religiously it
I think
makes
that
sense?
may be
Or
more
do you think
of
it
a
would be a
question for
fail?
my daughter, more
But-
for my kids,
but-
because I feel like in my lifetime, us being on Mars is going to be more. If we get there and it's
I don't think
anything-
it'll happen.
anything significant, it'll be just like a colony, and it'll like it's not really gonna matter until like the 3rd or 4th generation. Then.
I think something either super tragic.
They're gonna have to have kids on Mars before.
Yeah.
But like they're gonna have to build generationally a civilization on Mars before it's.
I don't
mean,
think it'll happen though, like religiously speaking, because like in the Bible it talks about the bodies rising
God
from
is
the
a god of
graves.
Mars.
But
As
it's
well
not,
as the
it's
God
not
of
Earth though. But like in the Bible it talks
But
specifically.
he created the universe.
But it talks specifically about Earth.
That's the history of the Earth. The history of Mars is well, yeah.
It's in our
Jesus
solar
came
system.
and he saved us, and then because of that, we were able to get to Mars and start a colony there.
Do you think?
I
think he would. I think he
I
would.
don't think there's any escape from.
I think something would
I
prevent
think even. All right, here's what I think. I think if you get to Mars and you start doing tests and
Yeah.
running
Yeah.
science there on Mars,
Mhm.
you're going to
Meteor.
come up with the same result. There's a designer to all this.
Well, yeah. No. Well,
So what you're saying is like you think something would limit us to get to a certain point, or no? Did I interpret that wrong?
I don't
Like-
think there's any limitation other than sin that's getting in our way.
But
I mean,
my understanding
we have
was
so much potential as humans
Yeah.
because we're made in the image of a creator
yeah.
who did this.
Yeah.
Like,
Why would
in
you
this-
wanna-
the universe, the stars, these clouds, the freaking sun that just set,
So
the trees that are up there, the grass, the mountain, like the little hill that's right here. He
Yeah,
did
yeah.
all that. He
Yeah.
designed it, and so we could sit here and talk about it right now.
yeah.
Part of the reason.
So like correct me if I'm wrong. I could be completely wrong because it is me speaking. So you're thinking that
Micah has no problem correcting you if you're wrong.
I'm just I'm just wondering myself
You
here.
got to. So when
Yeah.
I have my brother-in-law who's got a higher IQ than me over here, I play the devil's advocate, I guess. And
The song?
I
Okay.
play like the actual role of the
Okay,
devil's
okay,
advocate
yeah.
and ask him questions that people ask me, like, why is the Bible like different translations? And
Oh, and
like,
he kind of gives you like the answer to that stuff.
yeah, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
if he's wrong, I'll correct him, or if I'm if I correct him and I'm wrong, then he corrects me, and he's a lot smarter than me. So with people,
Yeah.
not necessarily just with people like that, but with people who I know who are like very strong in the faith,
Yeah.
I'll like go almost on the other side against them and ask
Yeah.
them questions
Just to
like,
see.
well, to see what their answer is, because, and I only ask questions that people ask me. So if I'm evangelizing out to people at work or something, and they bring up a question, I'm like, I don't really know the answer to that one. I'll bring it up to somebody who I know, like my dad or Isaiah or
Yeah.
my grandfather, somebody who I know has lived their entire life believing this stuff, and so they know the apologetics, the apologia of it all, which in the New Testament it says you need to have an apologia for your faith, which is you need to have a good like debate. You need to be able to debate your point of view
Yeah.
and stand firm in your argument and be able to win people over. That's
So
and-
For me personally, like I wanted to hit on this point, like that exact point. For me personally, I'm trying to figure out how to word this. Like, I guess my stance. Like, I'm a Christian 100% now. I recently got baptized, like not long ago, because I didn't grow up in the church like at all. Like I went, like I can count on my hands. When
amount
I
of
was
times
younger,
you
the
went.
amount of times that I was in a church. I didn't grow up in a church, so I can't speak to the amount of things that y'all are speaking on personally, but I do kind of have an opinion.
Yeah.
When you say that you kind of like ask questions to someone to kind of play devil's advocate, what, like for me personally, how do you know that you're reaching that specific person when you kind of
because I already know that their faith is secure,
okay
or I wouldn't necessarily do that. Sometimes, like it'll work. So evangelism is sort of individualistic, where the way that I evangelize may vary person to person. So it could be like they're doing something where I need to be like just very blunt and be like, hey, I think there's a better way for you to do that. And then, but also I think there's like they're already a morally good person, and then I'm just trying to point them in the direction of Jesus, to be like the morals that you have right now apart from Jesus are good, but they're good for a reason. They're good because God gave them to you and gave you a heart towards people, not against people, and a heart of flesh. And I don't know. I get, yeah, like I said, it varies person to person.
how do you
So,
know? How do you know when you're
just
speaking
talking
to
to them.
like you? But what if they're that person specifically that you're talking to is doing kind of what the same thing that you're doing to them, and you're just bouncing off of each other? And
Then I guess we just keep bouncing until our worldviews meet at the
and
foundation.
then you're like, okay, we're there.
Like,
We hit it.
yeah.
Finish line's there. Like we got to the
We
point
gotta
that we
talk
needed to.
about it
Okay.
now.
Okay. See that's
Yeah.
for me. Like I'm not the type of person that's gonna like
Evangelism
speak
and
out to reach to
Christianity, I think, are different.
Mhm.
Christianity, you could be living like you could be married to one woman. Sorry, hang on. We gotta relight our cigars real quick. Hang on.
Just
But
drop like the biggest bomb to like realize you could be married to one woman. Hang on.
hang on. We got to relight our cigars. But like for me personally, some of this stuff is going over my head completely. So I'm just kind of sitting here like wondering what's going on. Like
ask away.
Yeah. But like
I don't think that even works.
Because
shoot.
I don't want
Nah, you're
anything
good. Go ahead,
like
Andy.
to be unclear, you know, just for like a general audience.
for me,
like
when you say you bounce ideas off of other people based off of what they're asking, like kind of like going off of how they're like the
Their
conversation is
reaction.
going. Yeah, like
Yeah.
how do you know? Like I'm wondering. Like this is like a legit question. Like how do you know that I'm being sincere though? Like how do you know that I'm actually questioning?
It's just the nature of the questions normally reveal whether the person's sincere or not. Like if the questions are, I mean, I guess you can tell if somebody's listening or if somebody's paying attention. Like they could be listening and not really care what you're saying. Like so some of the evangelism I've done is in a pizza kitchen, and so there were two guys working in there. One guy I'd be talking to, and at first the other guy I could tell just wasn't paying attention. Like he'd be focused on his work, just like we're talking in the background, but it's like he doesn't care. And then the other guy was like really into it, and then I didn't spend enough time with him. He ended up taking a job in the military doing like coding or some like computer stuff, or I don't.
For me, when you just said that you felt like the other guy was not listening, like
But he ended up listening later on. Like after the initial guy left, I feel like when he left, I left him with enough knowledge to be like, if you look in the Bible,
you'll find the answers that you're looking for.
dude,
That got to me. Okay,
More than
I
just the
get what you're saying.
answers
All right.
you're looking for.
Yeah, I got you right there, absolutely. Because
The
I guess
answers
I've
to
never really sat down and
questions
looked for the Bible.
you didn't even know that you had, like, because, I mean, 10 years ago, I was reading the Bible, but I didn't know that I had questions that I have now. And now when I read it, it's like, there's different, it's made for us.
But
It's God's word. It's the designer's, like, not manual, because it's not like this is how you do it. Although it kind of is.
Yeah.
It's more like a well of living water. Like you can just go there for sustenance. You can go there when you're feeling down, or we should be there every day. But
Yeah.
do you think
it's got so much?
Do you think that every single person put on this earth, like this is kind of a different question, but like, do you think that every single person put on this earth can find Jesus?
Yeah.
Every single person, like even
So
are they set in their mind to, like, do you think it's like a mind thing that they can, like, if I'm not saying that if you think they can believe in Jesus if they
I get
like
what you're
sat
saying.
down,
like if you never heard about Jesus,
Yeah.
how would you get into heaven?
yeah, like for me, I'm speaking for me personally. Like I didn't grow up in church.
So like, what if you had died before?
Yeah, like what if something tragic happened like before
Yeah.
I got to that point that led me to Jesus?
Yeah.
Like how is that? Is
This
that my
is-
fault?
This
No,
is super comparative to there's an island that no one's allowed to go on because everyone on there's a cannibal.
Oh, I know.
You know
I
what
know
I'm
exactly.
talking
Yeah, I
about?
know exactly what you're talking about.
I think about that all the time.
Everyone's a cannibal, or they just
They're
kill everybody.
The tribe.
who shows up?
It's so small. The island's so
Yeah,
small.
are
Smaller.
they cannibals though?
They are,
Because
they
they
are, yeah.
like
They'll
do
eat
they do
people.
that because they like that, or are they doing that to protect?
I don't know. I don't
That's what I'm
know.
like.
There might not even be enough food. They might eat their own people.
Yeah.
Nobody knows.
Yeah.
Unless maybe the government, but
Yeah.
whatever government banned people from going there, nobody's allowed on that island. It's super small. It floods like 5 times a year, where they have to hang out in the trees to survive.
Is that the island that speared someone
Someone
they-
went on it and someone got killed.
Yeah, okay. We may be
documentary
thinking
crew.
about yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like if they never had the opportunity, like nobody goes there. Literally nobody goes there. If they've never had the opportunity to hear the word, because they're completely cut off from the rest of the world. It's how would the faith get shared to them, and would they do they get a free pass?
I think
do they get a free
things
pass,
like
or do
that-
they just go to hell? Like, how does that work?
No, well, I think things like that are things that the devil uses.
Yeah.
That Lucifer or Satan or whatever you want to call him, the accuser, the one who lies to us,
Yeah.
the one that gets us to do stuff that we otherwise wouldn't do. In a perfect world, we'd be like, that's just ridiculous. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
But because we live in this sinful world that we do,
We're sinners.
we are sinners, every freaking one of us. So
Yeah.
we do stupid stuff, and we listen to this stupid serpent.
Mhm.
But he says that I forgot, what was I saying?
You're
We were
you're
talking about
speaking on people that knew
never had
yeah,
the
like,
chance
they weren't
to see the
brought
gospel.
up.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
think that he wants us to think that they have no chance. Like I think he
Yeah.
wants us to doubt the work of God in places where, I mean, like God is everywhere. There's nothing that is going on apart from Him.
But okay.
Nothing is going on apart from Him.
So I just because for me I can cope with it, but I just want to understand because I feel like you have a different mindset than me when it comes to something like this, and that's not a bad
That's okay.
thing.
I'm used to that.
It's a neutral, so neutral, and these people, they live on an island. Okay. Nobody goes there.
Right.
The government will arrest you.
Have they heard the gospel?
Well, the government
Maybe.
will arrest you
Maybe
if
not.
you go there. And
This is in Indonesia.
I'm not quite sure. I just remember reading
It's an
about
island.
it somewhere. It's
And
an
the
island, and
government has
they're
it
all
protected.
cannibals, and they have
To
it
where if you
protected.
go there, the
Because
government
it's
can,
so small, dude.
you get
It's
in
literally
government
smaller
trouble.
than this
If
neighborhood.
the government doesn't get you and you show up on that island,
Yeah.
the people will kill
The
you.
people will probably eat you.
Right. So I think I know which one.
And
you're
so
talking
like,
about.
how?
You have that lighter.
Let me, because I know you were raised in a very Christian household, and I was too, but yours, I think, was to kind of maybe a different degree, because I believe your father did some maybe missionary work or
Did
some
some
pastoral work.
magic work on me.
Yeah, yeah, and
Made me think this way.
yeah, and so I just want
called
to
the
understand
Bible.
how bring you being brought up in that. Because me and Dalton, I feel like we're kind of more I don't
Well,
understand
in the South, it's more
whether they would go to heaven or
rapture
hell,
based.
or think about it
There's
like
a
this.
lot of fear. I'm telling you, the gay stuff that is all around the country,
Yeah.
it's here. It's already here. You think the Bible Belt's safe? It's there's guys at the store with painted fingernails checking you out now in Alabama. It's in the Bible Belt. So
Well, that happens all the time. Yeah, yeah.
I'm not saying it doesn't happen.
UAB is like a
I'm just
a
saying
safe
it's
haven for that
here.
kind of thing.
There was a dude. It was a dude. I know
Yeah.
it was a dude because when he got out, I was like, man, that guy could have played basketball.
Mm-hmm.
That's a dude.
Yeah.
But he was dressed like a girl, had some boobs,
Oh wow.
and his car broke down in the middle of the road. So what do? He just left it there in the middle of the road and jacked up traffic for everybody else. Girls are smarter than that. You freaking men will do what they can to mitigate the issue, like with traffic. Women will at least get out of the way. I'm
Dalton.
Sorry.
This is
I got a little
Satcher. I love you, bro, but that was the most random thing.
I guess it was pretty random. The topic, I have a problem. I have maybe it's a short-term
We
memory
were
problem.
talking about Village Islanders.
I can remember a story from a
It's
long
like
time ago.
transgenders and the cars in the road.
What we were talking about 5 minutes ago is hard to remember for me for some reason.
You're okay.
So
Yeah,
what
I'm sorry.
y'all
that
were
was
talking
just-
about?
That cracked me up.
What? There was something y'all were trying to get to the bottom of.
Yeah,
I
it was
just-
like
I
me
just want-
questioning, like,
Yeah.
like for me personally, if I didn't grow up around that, like, and I never,
Like,
Yeah.
what
yeah.
if he was?
If it's
what
not
if he
cultural?
never
So I
met
asked
Christian,
Isaiah
though?
about this. Well, if you yeah, freaking all right. So
Like, what if no one ever told you about the Word of God? And like, what if
Right.
you were so secluded, you're
Right.
on an island, so to speak, like those
you're
people?
on an island, you've never heard
No
of the
one
gospel,
speaks your
you've
language.
never heard of Jesus.
Do you go to
that he's the
heaven? Do you go
creator
to
and-
hell? Or like, how
I
does
think
that work?
God looks at the heart of people. I
So
think because
You kind of think like he's
well,
like,
we're all created in the image of God.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it says it's two things that are written on the hearts of every man.
do you think they just suffer for
One
their
is
grandfather's
eternity.
sins though, or do you think that like they get like their own perspective, like their? Okay, so it wasn't
there's
their
two,
choice
there's
to be
two
born.
things that are written on the heart of every man.
Yeah.
It's eternity and the law of God.
Yeah.
So we all have a moral like compass.
Mm-hmm.
And we can distort that and we can mess with it enough to where it points to where we want it to point.
Mm-hmm.
But where we want it to point may not be where God
wants it to
point. Yeah. If it points towards God, then you can't go wrong. But if we distort it, we can sin enough to where it
Mhm.
looks like it's going somewhere else than it's supposed to go.
Yeah. You
But-
can masquerade your own point of moral justice, so to speak, or moral ambiguity.
Right.
And you can be okay with a certain amount of sin and not give over your entire heart and still think that you're in the right when you're clearly not.
Bro, speaking of the mic, you're
Sorry.
preaching, man.
Yeah.
So don't freaking, what were you saying? Don't like, what were you saying?
I was talking about like you can basically make yourself believe certain things are right when they're actually wrong, or you can guide yourself into, you know, I can do all these good things, but let me still, you know, mess around here, or let me still do such and such, or let me give in to anger when it suits my needs, so to speak, rather than following, you know, the teaching of Christ. So let me
It's a lot easier to give into our emotions than it is to just
yeah, like
do what Christ would want us to do, which we all feel it. We know when we're gonna break the law.
yeah,
That's written on our hearts.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
yeah.
So in C.S. Lewis, The
I
Last
love
Battle,
C.S. Lewis.
you read all the Chronicles of Narnia?
I've read all of those and watched all of the movies.
The Last Battle?
Dude, my mom used to read.
Did you
those.
read The Last Battle?
My mom used to read those in a British accent, like to us for bedtime. Like they're so good. C.S. Lewis is
That's
the
awesome.
goat.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But did you read The Last Battle?
Yes.
You
Yes.
know it.
Yes.
So you know where in The Last Battle he's talking about like Aslan's in a tent.
Mhm.
There's like a battle that doesn't even take place. It's like
Like
the grand climax. It's gonna be this grand battle, and then it's over before it even
Yeah.
starts.
It was like a mental.
Aslan's
It was
in
like a mental battle.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Aslan's in a tent, and everybody from all of history starts coming in,
Yeah.
and they either go to the left or the right
Mm-hmm.
of Aslan. And so if they go to the left, it's like outer darkness.
They had to
They
like
just like
pick a side.
They come into the
Yeah.
tent, they see Aslan, and they're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
They like
They-
duck out and they go to the left. But if they come in, and there were two types of people that were able
Yeah.
to go to the right. It was the people that saw Aslan and were like, yes, this is my king,
Yeah.
and this is where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
And then there was also another type who were scared when they saw him, but they were not just scared, but were like I should go this way because even though I'm scared, I recognize that this is the God that I've been searching for.
Yeah.
So that's the last battle. It kind of sounds like I don't know if it sounds like what we've been talking about, but we just
I think it
Dalton just
does.
left, and I grabbed his microphone. So there was a lot going on that
I'm sure he'll be
now
right
I
back.
lost the vein of conversation.
No, I think that also even relates back to, you know, the promised land and the people choosing whether to do the tasks successfully, so to speak. I'm just gonna go back to the water one because that's just what we talked about. But like whether they drank from the water like dogs and lapped it with their tongues, or whether they cupped the water and drank with caution and with almost like a sense of self-respect. I think that it's almost the exact same thing there, and I think that might even be where you got the inspiration to write that specific scene. Is kind of their choice and whether what that determined on the inside of them. But
Hang on, I'm gonna pause it. I gotta use the restroom.
I ain't gonna lie to you.
Okay, well,
I'm gonna
shit, we came back right in on the laugh. We're back. We took a
Y'all want me to
restroom
say
break,
this or no?
and now
No,
we're back in. We
we're
were talking
back.
about
We're live.
when we all smoked weed. So Dalton has something to say to that.
I used to do some bad stuff, man.
So
Like,
how tornadical did the weed-nadical activities
Dude.
get?
man, before I joined the military, I was on like a rough patch, man. Like I really didn't know what was going on. Like,
Yeah.
I was just kind of like going with the flow of like whoever I was hanging out with at the time,
Just kind of
just doing whatever.
filled in with the crowd.
Yeah, I was just
Yeah.
following the crowd. Like I didn't have my own path. Like I was just doing whatever was going on at the time.
Right.
And I had smoked some stuff that like really made me paranoid. Like, and I had smoked like a long time before that. Like, this was not like a first time type of thing.
Yeah.
And I had smoked, and I started like, I don't know if it was like laced with something or like I'm not like, I'm not exaggerating at all. Like I started like hallucinating like extremely bad. Like I'm not joking at all. Like I couldn't even look people in the eyes because of like what it was doing to me.
Oh my gosh.
Like
Was it easier in the military for you to do that? Like look people in the eyes because you gotta have
no.
that military bearing?
I think it was harder for me to look at someone in the eyes because like for so long you're taught like don't look at me,
Right.
look
eyes in
straight
the road.
ahead. Like
Yeah.
don't look me in the eyes, look straight ahead.
Mhm.
And it's like I would just focus on like their like brim of their hat, like their PC. I would just like look straight at that to where I'm not looking them in
Yeah,
the
because
eyes.
they're in your face.
Yeah,
so
like
look straight ahead.
they're
So
not
what-
like-
What do you? I mean, you're straight ahead.
Yeah,
You're,
like so
you're
I
not supposed to look at. You.
yeah, like so I would just focus on the brim of their PC, and I would just stare straight at that, like no matter what.
Right.
And but kind of deviated from the
So
point.
what questions, Dalton? I feel like getting back to maybe where we were at. What kind of questions would you have for, like, cause I don't. Me and Micah obviously have different views on how history ends, but I think that maybe me and Micah also both grew up in some like a
Fairly
home.
religious households.
Yeah, fairly religious household. We'll put it that way. And so, what kind of questions? Like, I feel like you had some of the better questions for, and it's the kind of questions that I was talking about that I ask, like my friends who are further along in the faith than I am, I ask them these questions because people ask me them, and I want to be able to evangelize better.
I think they're questions that almost only you can ask, or
Almost only you can
Only
can ask,
people
but
in
people
your-
will recognize, like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good question. And I was thinking about that too, even though they may not have that question articulated.
yeah.
I got one. So me growing up, like I've stated previously multiple times, not growing up in church
Yeah.
or anything around it really. Like, how do I know that I'm doing the right thing? Like, I'm not saying that I'm not, like,
So-
I don't believe in, like, Christ. Like, as I've said, like, I was recently baptized because I 100% believe now.
Yeah.
Like, I was led to that path. Like, I like, something led. I'm not saying that, like, Jesus specifically led me down that direction that I took. I'm saying that, like, something did, like, something pointed me, like, hey, you should probably go this route. Like, I didn't just wake up one day and was like, I think I'm gonna go get baptized, man. Like, I think that's the cool thing to do.
Comes to mind for me is like, well,
Well, let me ask a specific real quick. Like,
yeah.
when you ask how do you know you're doing the right thing, do you ask how do you know the faith is real, or how do you know it's right to believe, or are you asking how are the works defined? Like, how do I know I'm doing the right thing by helping my neighbor? How do I know I'm doing the right thing by giving money or tithing? Or how do I know I'm doing the right thing by etc.? You know, like, what specifically
I would
are
just say
you
this, Dalton.
looking at?
The fact that you're married to a woman, not women, like plural, you know.
Mormonatical.
You're married to a woman and y'all have kids and she's pregnant with another one, and I would just say that's being fruitful and multiplying.
Yeah.
And you're doing exactly what God would want you to do in your situation. You're getting married and having kids. That is one of the best things that anyone ever can do. Is
Yeah.
get married and have kids. And
But-
teach them about God. Read them the Bible.
So
Teach them, pray with them. Teach
Like-
them about Jesus and how he's a savior, and he's not like, yeah, secularly, I guess you can call him a scapegoat, but he's not. He's more than that.
I think
He's
the
way more
devil's
than
the
that.
scapegoat for people have an excuse for sin, or
That was,
You
yeah,
know
what
what I
I'm
mean?
getting
I
at.
think
And the New
Jesus
Testament
is
talks about that as like,
more
should
the
I,
answer.
Romans, should I go
Yeah.
on sinning
yeah,
now that I have the gospel?
yeah, because it's like
I
he's
know that I'm
forgiven
gonna be
my sins
forgiven,
either way.
So
yeah,
should I go on sinning?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
yeah. I think you should do your best to make him proud.
But I think what you're doing, Dalton, is exactly what God would want you to be doing.
Yeah,
Is being married, having kids, having a family. Just teach them about God
well, let me
and how to love them. And
let me ask
what
you
he's
real
done for
quick.
you.
Actually, a question now that I've thought of it, and then we'll get back to Dalton's. Like, I don't want any kids. I don't. You know,
You don't want kids?
I don't want kids. I almost don't even really believe in having
This took
kids.
a turn.
I know.
Crap.
Because
We're an hour
y'all,
and
both of y'all
40
just
in.
had kids. Yeah,
He's about to have two. I have one.
well,
We definitely are
What's up?
planning.
If y'all want s'mores, the thing is heated up.
We'll
we just got
definitely
into
get
a
some
deep
s'mores.
conversation.
Yeah, but also that.
yeah. This is a hard trade-off. Should we take a pause and come back?
Micah,
Where were we at? Can you
you're
remember?
gonna have to leave soon.
Well,
Ruby's gotta go to bed.
Who needs
so
sleep?
maybe y'all can bring those
honestly?
s'mores out to us.
I know, it sounds like goofy.
Are we getting fully
can't.
serviced?
No, I
Like,
can't.
what's-
It won't fit. You have to.
It won't fit.
You have
Through
to
the
keep it
door?
plugged
How big are
in.
these s'mores?
These are like some really,
This is
like,
some big old
like we may have just broke the world record.
for mega marshmallow.
Yeah, like we got these dropped off on a pallet. Like, You know how a pallet usually has stacks?
$250
Yeah.
for freight.
This was just one pallet with one marshmallow. Like one
Singular
individual
marshmallow. Yeah.
was dropped off on that pallet.
That's why they can't bring it out here.
They had to drop the Hershey's
go with
bar off
red
on a
wine.
separate pallet.
We
More of that.
personally had to we had to call Hershey's to get these
Yeah.
chocolate bars sent here.
It was like actually like a care package was dropped,
they were factory made.
Yeah. like just down the street. Like these Hershey's bars were like care packaged in.
No, but yeah. So back to what Dalton had said was, how do you know you're doing the right thing? And
Right.
I think
How do you know if you're doing the wrong thing? It's probably the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit's gonna let you know because
Yeah.
of that.
you'll feel a sense of conviction.
We live post Jesus' death and resurrection. That means after. We live after that, which means the veil was torn
yeah.
to the Holy of Holies, which means we have access to anybody who, like the man on the cross next to Jesus. He said,
You'll be with me this day in paradise.
yeah. And so,
Well,
I mean, and he lived a life worthy of him being put on that cross.
yeah, he was
And
a
yet
thief.
he was
in
welcomed
something.
into heaven.
Yeah, he's welcome.
So God looks at the heart, I think.
I think it's also like for
Where's your
me,
heart at? If you're searching for God
yeah,
and for truth it's like he's gonna bless you.
I can relate to Dalton there too, and it's on the aspect of I could be doing the right thing, but it's wrong for me. And to elaborate on that, like I could be going to church, I could be tithing and blessing others, and I could be someone of forgiveness towards those who've wronged me, and doing what most would consider right or just or someone of a stoic mindset. But it's either one, not enough, or two, too much for me. So my mindset growing up, like the way I was raised was, my uncle, he was a man of kind of like the faith, and he did ministry works and things like that. And my dad, he kind of broke it down really well. He said, I'm not that man. That's not how I operate. And
He wasn't a man of faith, like it was.
well, my dad is a man of faith, and he grew
wasn't
up.
gonna like orient everything he did off of
Yeah,
the
so
Bible and
I
God's
think
word.
for my dad personally, like he would not be as impactful as he is today had he done the same thing as my uncle did, going to like ministry school and things like that, and like not to dog on or belittle those that go into ministry, but there's only so much you can do there. Like money is power to a degree, and it really is. And my dad's been highly favored and many times blessed over, and the things he does now I think are more impactful than what he would have done had he gone into ministry. And like I really took that as, because I thought I wanted to do ministry for a while too, before I wanted to get into special operations and things like that. And like with ministry, I think there's a cap to how much you can do, to how much you're willing to do. You could be out in the middle of nowhere in the Sahara Desert doing ministry to tribes or whatever, or in Africa, or it doesn't matter. But like, is it like something that you would enjoy doing at the same time? Like my father, he enjoys what he does because he's a man of competition. He works in the financial area or the business field, whatever you want to say about it, and he enjoys competing to that degree. And from that, one, he finds joy in the work that he does. Two, he makes money from that. And three, he's able to give it away freely because he knows it's not his and it's God's. So,
Bro, that's a freaking that's a story right there.
it's so much
he
more
recognizes
impactful.
what is God's
Yeah.
and what He's given to him.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And it's like, for me, like, I know I would enjoy doing mercenary, private military contractor work. Like, I know that I would. But morally, I knew that there was some questionable areas about that. Because you do some questionable jobs. And I know I could give that every single penny. I could give it away. Every single penny. Yeah, I'd do some questionable things, but if not me, someone else would do it. And I could give away every single penny and make someone's life infinitely better than it would have been. But at that same time, I would have that doubt. Whereas what I'm doing now, because I didn't do that, there's no guilt behind it. I don't have that moral gray area, and I know I'll be successful in it and be able to give a certain amount, you know, to a degree, to others, and be impactful, equal to or more than I would have been without having the self-guilt carrying around. So it's about finding, like I said with my father and myself, an area where you can enjoy what you do, an area where you can be successful in that. So it's like, you can enjoy a lot of things. Like, I can enjoy playing video games. Will I be successful at making money in that? Probably not. You know?
Am I gonna make money on this podcast? Probably not.
But it'll be impactful to others.
Hopefully, that's a goal.
Yeah, it's like, I wouldn't make money doing video games, but I personally would enjoy it.
Right.
I wouldn't make money doing it, and I probably wouldn't be able to influence others through doing it, but I would enjoy it. So that's for myself. But whereas what I'm doing now, it's like, I can enjoy what I'm doing, I can give money to others, and I can be impactful through those works. I think it's about finding the three, and I think the number 3 and number 7 are very, very impactful through their Holy Trinity being 3, God the Father, God the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And I think having those
What do you think the
three
Holy Spirit
translates.
does?
I think the Holy Spirit guides you and convicts you. So I think when you're doing wrong, whether it's
Yeah.
something you might perceive as right, like it's like, should I take this promotion? And you feel some sense of self-doubt, or this isn't right for me, that could be the Holy Spirit. And you need to pray about that.
Definitely takes some meditation to
It
figure
does,
out, like,
it does.
What are you trying to tell
Because it
me?
could also be the devil, and you
But-
need to
but
find
it is
yourself
him.
in prayer.
That is the Holy Spirit.
How do
Yeah.
how do you
Talking to
different
you.
like
How do you differentiate the
yeah,
devil and the Holy
Meditate
Spirit?
Between-
in the Bible. You
So
read the Bible and meditate.
I think,
It's- and not like, I'm not talking about. I mean, you can meditate driving down the road. Just
Yeah.
Even while you're listening to music.
Yeah.
I mean, you could just be thinking about what you read and how it matters to your life, and that's meditating.
I found the most, and it could be wrong, but it's worked so well. So, like, I wish I could explain, but it would be so deep, so long, and
We got time.
we really don't.
No, everybody's
But-
gotta go, unfortunately.
We'll save it for
babies.
we'll save it for another episode. But
When are you and I was supposed to ask you about this. When are you and Maria gonna seal the deal, get married?
we'll figure it out when it comes. But
But
But-
do
Next
you have a
weekend?
ring?
we're planning on.
Do you have a ring? This won't be released. I can wait to release this until afterwards.
Secretary of Defense once said, "I can neither confirm nor deny."
I'm just
such
here, so
activity."
I'll get
This
fined.
can be. Look, we talked about on the black label. We
Look,
talked
look.
about Isaiah having a baby
before
it
I
was
forget
announced.
what
And
I'm about
then
to say,
I waited to post it until after they announced it themselves.
okay.
So I can't
okay,
wait
okay.
until after.
But let
like,
me.
that we can. I don't have to
I
post
think-
this tonight.
I think you'll appreciate this infinitely more than anyone else.
What about me?
I don't
I'm
know
just-
how
I'm
much
just
you're
joking.
in. I don't know how much
I'm
you're
joking.
into Star Wars.
No,
Look,
I
Hey,
didn't say that I am.
Dalton's. Hey, he's as much as a nerd as.
No, I'm a nerd. Absolutely.
I know.
It
I know
just
you're
seems
into some cool
some-
stuff.
yeah.
We can all
I
play
know you got some
baseball,
cool
but we're also
tats.
nerds. I mean, come on.
But-
we're athletes who,
But-
who like Star Wars.
But Star Wars specifically. So when I work out, I give that time. The best workouts I've ever had are the ones I've dedicated to God every single time. I've gone
Hey,
to
bro.
the gym and I've been there for 3 hours and not gotten anything out of it. Literally nothing. I feel like I
Did you
haven't gotten a
didn't,
pump.
Like pray or something. Or?
I feel like I haven't gotten anything mentally out of it. I feel like I haven't gotten anything
'Cause
philosophically
we're told
out
to
of it.
Pray without ceasing.
Well,
So the way I see it is,
I could go to the gym.
everything we do is a prayer. We're singing everything we do is a song. So
Yeah.
Are you? What are your verses like?
Well, it's the same thing. It's the mindset I have when I go to the gym. Am I going there just to go there, or am I going there to better myself because it's not my body? So when I go to the gym and I have the mindset that this is not my body, it is the product of a gift given to me by Jesus' sacrifice or by God's willingness
So you're saying,
to
like,
line
I
up my
have
like,
the responsibility.
I have the
to-
responsibility to be the best form physically and
Yeah.
mentally that I could ever become because it was a gift given to me that I am in the form that I am today. So
Right.
I would rather better myself for today and tomorrow and every day after that to glorify the opportunity I was given at birth. So like
It's exactly how the Trinity works. you
Yeah.
know? It's
Yeah.
like the Son glorifies the Father and the Spirit glorifies the Father and the Son, the Son or the Father glorifies the Son and the Spirit. They're saying,
exactly.
look at my other parts. Look at the Father saying, look at my Son and my Spirit, and the Son is saying, look at my Father and the Spirit, and the Spirit saying, look at my Father and the Son, and
How do you get someone to that point though? Like,
To where they can understand that.
no, not
to where
I,
they're
I guess
like
where they understand
glorifying
it,
other
like
people.
to where they realize that everything that they do is not for them. It's for
So
Dude, it takes time.
it
Ha-
takes.
how do you
takes-
get to that point though? Like,
And-
where do you even begin?
You
to-
have
right
to
now, you begin
literally-
at the moment you realize that, you start right there and you say,
yeah.
I'm
My
gonna start thinking about other people more.
I think my mindset.
It's like kind of orienting yourself towards other people rather than yourself.
Yeah.
Because
Wha-
I feel like, especially in America, we orient ourselves towards ourselves, and we're thinking about
why not
just
why not do
how
it
can-
for
how
yourself?
Can I be happy?
And
So-
why not do it for yourself and the specific like people that you were involved with? Like, why do it for others?
I think the
And-
Holy
Let me-
Spirit helps us with that.
let me-
It helps us think of others instead of ourselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like I get that, but like why? Like,
Let me explain
why
that. Let me
do they
explain
wanna do
that
Because
in the
community
mindset that
is
I
the
have
way-
behind it.
Think of how we're made. We're made to be able to. We're made. It's not, to quote Genesis, it's not good for man to be alone. And right after that, he was given a wife. And then immediately after that, they had kids.
Yeah.
It's not good for man to be alone.
That's true.
I
So
think
community is part of what we're made for.
But
I think it's also a humility factor.
The only thing that God said in creation that was not good was that man was alone. Everything else, he said, this is good.
This is good.
This
yeah.
is good.
Yeah.
This is good. It's not good for man to be alone.
To do life alone or to be alone or
It's not good for man to be alone.
I think
I wouldn't consider like I get what you're saying, but
Yeah.
like why
is it impactful for you to
outside of your family?
let go of yourself and impact others?
Yeah. Like,
Okay,
why
so-
would I want to impact someone that is not in my immediate family?
Immediate.
Like, Yeah,
like your bloodline
like me-
almost, or
yeah, like
your family,
Satcher.
rather,
This
because
group right
people
here.
you don't know.
This group right
Yeah,
here. Like,
exactly.
Okay.
Why would
we
I
all
want
love
to do?
each other.
So-
Why would we care about anybody outside
think-
of this?
Why would I
group?
care about the
The
neighbor?
neighbor
Yeah.
right there.
Why,
Right.
why would I do
Well-
anything that helps them when I could do someone
Because
Well-
something
Jesus
that
said,
benefits?
"What you do to the least of these, you've done unto me."
Yeah.
Say that again.
So, what you've
What
done,
you've
to
done
the
unto the least
these,
of these, you've done to me.
Yeah, when
So,
we get to heaven,
like the
Jesus
meek
is gonna
or-
look at what we did to
Yeah.
people, to people. How
So-
how do we look at people?
Yeah.
Is our heart? That's how we look at people.
Your
What's in our heart
perspective
comes out of our
is
mouth, and
infinitely more deep and impactful than you know. And for me personally, like, physically, I've always been what I am. Mentally, like, I've probably died twice
I've
and-
died 100 times.
in my life.
we
So
have to.
we're-
We have
we're
to
gonna get-
sacrifice. I mean, we're men,
We're-
so we sacrifice ourselves so
Yeah.
that
Our families can
that life can go on.
yeah,
And
live
our,
on
Our
past
life
us.
might live on,
yeah,
but the part of us that would require death,
yeah.
like the sinful nature of us,
Like,
that requires death.
have you seen The Passion of Christ, like the movie by
No.
Mel Gibson?
No.
So-
no, I
It's a
know
good
about
movie.
it, but I have not.
There's
personally
some
watched
parts
it.
of it that I don't really like the demonic aspect. There's like a couple scenes in there like I still don't really know if I agree with. But like sometimes it takes so much for you to truly understand like what he went through. So in my mind, and I'm gonna get really, really deep real quick.
Go like real low, like get real close to my.
Okay, yeah,
Like if
yeah.
you're talking like this.
Got you. I'm gonna get really,
Like,
really
make a
deep
point, yeah,
real quick,
get close.
and like I haven't told probably more than 3 people this, but like one night, for no reason, and this used to be a friend, and like it ruined my concept of trust and friendship and everything, and like they took something from me. I don't know if I'll ever get it back. I might. And that will take some time because I still don't have it now, and I know I don't. And sometimes I don't want it. Sometimes I do. But most of the time I don't. I was beaten to a bloody pulp. Cracked ribs. Cracked orbital wall. Broken orbital wall fracture. I mean, I can't believe that I survived. Like, when I talk about I was sitting there not fighting back because I knew for a fact if I died and there were any injuries, even one injury on this person that assaulted me and tried to commit murder, they would claim self-defense and I would be dead. And there would be no way for me to defend my side and my family, my father, my mother, my 2 brothers, my 1 sister, would think that for the rest of their lives, I died because I started a fight that I couldn't finish. So I held back. I had a knife in my hand the whole time. I took a brutal beating. Stayed the knife. Didn't do anything. Not a single injury on my side, intentional or on purpose. And for, I don't even know, 30 minutes, an hour. I mean, time slowed down. Each
Right.
punch was worse than the last.
Because it does in times like those.
And
It slows down.
it was brutal. I mean,
Lasts forever.
it did not stop. And I got to a point where the pain went away. I didn't feel anything. it was almost just pure neutrality. I didn't feel like anything hurt. I didn't really care what happened, and I just sat there with my tunneled vision almost, and I was just like, if he would just stop now, if he didn't kick me here, if he didn't punch me here, we wouldn't have to get our parents involved. We wouldn't have to get the cops involved. It would each escalation.
I could hide that. Like I could hide.
I could hide that.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have to tell anybody. This was during COVID. We were doing virtual class. I could put makeup on for the Skype calls, and I just kept thinking of all these reasons that it wouldn't have to stop, or that we could stop and still be okay, because this particular person was someone that was at one point close to me, so I didn't want things for them to turn out wrong, and there was no reason for it other than secular drugs and drinking and just underage nonsense. And
a little different than I was going.
Yeah.
I was thinking you stood up for him or didn't say something because you were looking out for your neighbor.
He just mentally wasn't there at that point in time. And
That's rough.
like I said with the Star Wars, the correlation was I had watched this video on TikTok about Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker, and how Anakin was like a brother or a son almost to Obi-Wan, and how Anakin had become everything that Obi-Wan swore his entire life to destroy: a murderer, a traitor, a destroyer.
Episode 2 reflects that.
It's so like
literally. Episode 3 is them just being friends.
Obi-Wan.
Episode 2 is when Obi-Wan is actually like training him, and
it's
the relationship between the two. Look,
it's so impactful.
You can say what you like about George Lucas, but I like him.
Yeah,
and I wish that he was still the one.
Oh my gosh!
You watched
his stories, like
season 3. What's it like?
I don't even. I stopped watching. It wasn't that great.
Give me some spoilers, man.
But but like,
I'm not gonna watch it. You tell me what's going on.
I had watched this video while I was at the gym, and like, it's like this next set is like, it's not about me. It's like, let me do this to make my body better because you've blessed me with the opportunity to do so. So it's like, I could have been born physically not capable of what I'm doing, I could have had some deformality or some issue, but because I wasn't, why not do? You know what I mean? And like, in the face of everything, Obi-Wan still loved Anakin, and he didn't want to do what he had to do. And I was...
Yeah, but how does this have to do with how Dalton's feeling about...
Well...
like, faith and...
It's the same concept almost. It's like... Because
I definitely relate to how Dalton's feeling, where like, it feels
it's
hopeless.
like, why would I help these other people over myself?
Hopeless.
And
and you gotta help people over yourself. That's the key, or one of the keys to the answer to the problem. But the problem, I think, Dalton has a better insight on.
Yeah, I don't think that. I think forgiveness is so impactful, and it's like, even though that person had almost killed, like murder. I mean, it really was inches away from murder. There was just one person that had stopped me, or stopped when I was getting beaten to a bloody pulp.
Because I'm on the opposite end of that side. Like, I've done that to people, to where
beating them to bloody pulp. What are we talking about?
Yeah, like clarify.
No, like I'm wondering, like, where's like the medium in that, to like
doing bad
Stop-
things to others? Or,
Yeah, like what stops a individual? Like, is that like personal morals? Like,
So,
is that
no.
something that
I think
like
it's
something like a light bulb goes off
I
in their
think
head?
it's-
They're like, hey, I probably shouldn't do that, or is that a
Yeah.
higher
So-
power?
That's wrong.
I have
Yeah.
found that like people will joke about it
Yeah, come on,
all
like
the
that.
time about
Preach,
paying to win in life, and it's like when you like there's churches that are founded on the belief of if you give $10 you will make $100 this week. It's
Bullshit.
not true,
Bullshit.
but it kinda is,
'Cause
and
I've seen that.
I
as a word.
found-
True.
it's
You
it's
mean
not.
that,
You,
like, if
you
you
will not
tithe-
make $100 just
If
because you give
tithe,
10.
God will bless you. That's
Yes.
true.
But God will bless you. He will. And it's happened to me so much. I remember, like,
Why go out of your way to bless someone when
doesn't-
you don't know what's
Exactly.
going to be in return?
it doesn't
Like,
have to be money, though. It doesn't. It doesn't.
ha-
Like, please.
how do you?
How-
It does. If it doesn't have to be money, money is the root of everything, though.
You think it is, but it's not.
That's
Like-
the root of all evil.
It's the root of all evil. That's for sure. But money is. It's
How
a
did-
source for power, but there's still
Yeah,
power
it's also
outside
a
of money.
source-
So
it is a source of power, but it's also a source of it's just a source.
yeah, it's
Like you can tap into that source, and make
just
what
one pathway of many.
Align what your life goal is up to what God's will is for your life.
Like for
And
me
that,
personally,
and that,
Yeah.
like monetarily, that'll line up.
my goal is to make so much money. Like for me, money, like this may be
But
money's
why?
almost
But why?
everything.
money.
Why?
Money is
Why do you want to make a lot of money?
because I don't want my
You think
family.
you want to take care of people.
I don't want my family to ever have to worry about a single thing.
Okay.
And I
So-
want
That
money.
Makes sense. That
So-
makes sense. But add evangelism in there. What's your goal for the world
Yeah.
from where you stand right now?
Like,
what would
outside
you like
of-
how would you like to see the world different? And that's what your goal. I mean, your goal eventually will line up to that. But
Outside
how would you line it up to that in this, like at where you're at right
Yeah.
now?
I guess that's my problem. I don't ever line it up to anything other than like the immediate people
What-
that I'm around.
what is
Like,
what is the
But
difference
what's
though
your
between
goal?
your
What's your goal for your life? You know what I mean?
To be like my goal,
Like at the end of your life, do you want
I want to look
do you
back.
want somebody to be like,
Okay, I
oh
see what
yeah,
you're
he
saying.
did this and
Yeah.
he did that, and
Like-
like what do you want people
Yeah.
to remember you for?
Down like previously, like years before I met Macy, before I joined the military, I wasn't a great person. Like I did things that I'm not proud of, or like
yeah.
that.
That's fine.
Like-
my dad's like when I ask my dad, what do you want to be remembered for? It's me. It's
Yeah,
it's
I wanna
his
be-
sons.
Yeah, like I want to be when I die and people look back on what I did in my life. I don't necessarily want them to think of like he was a terrible person. Like
Y'all are about to have a boy though. I'm
Yeah.
gonna be honest. I'm extremely jealous that y'all are about to have a
Would you rather have a foundation or a
Bro,
legacy?
I cannot wait for that boy to come alive like
Legacy.
Remy has. Like you
Yeah.
know how Remy has a personality now,
yeah.
and like when y'all first had her, she didn't really. And
Yeah, she was
now
kind of like me, kind of like in a bubble.
grown into it.
Yeah.
So, man,
So
I cannot wait to see what kind of boy y'all have, and also I'm also a little jealous.
I'm
that
excited
y'all
for
are having a
Jolie.
boy.
Yeah.
though,
Well, I mean,
to
for
like
one,
be where Remy's at now.
Heck,
Yeah,
man,
like, it's-
Like, in a
freaking
couple
talking
months,
kids is nuts.
Jolie
because,
will be
like,
there.
I love my baby girl, and I love that like there's girls, and it's awesome. But also boys
Yeah.
are freaking.
Yeah.
Those are the warriors.
It's
I think it's
so
something
crazy.
you
else.
got one.
yeah.
You lucky.
You
It-
got.
It's
you
crazy.
got- you're gonna your wife is gonna give birth to a
A little
a
you.
snake head crusher.
Ma-
Yeah.
Macy and I just spoke about this recently.
It's
we
gonna
were-
be a
she's like-
warrior, bro.
She said, I do not know how to be a boy mom.
A boy mom, yeah,
Like,
dude.
I was like,
It's
Macy,
gonna be,
do you think that I knew how to be a girl mom?
yeah.
I mean, a girl.
yeah,
Sorry.
girl-
Yeah, like I'm
yeah,
a girl
yeah,
mom. Sorry.
Right.
2023, baby.
Yeah, I can be whatever I want to be. I guess.
What?
Do you think that I know how to be a girl dad?
Yeah.
Like,
No.
like,
No,
are you boring?
So that was different. So I was like, man, if I had a boy, it'd be so
Yeah.
easy
Yeah.
to teach him how to like hate the system and be a warrior.
Yeah.
But now that I have a girl, it
Like-
changes the perspective.
It's almost
you've
like
got to cater to
compassion.
I feel
guess
like
you-
it was the best route for us,
Yeah.
especially with you being my brother-in-law, and I mean, who knows what y'all are gonna do, Micah.
Yeah, we'll figure
But-
it out.
But like the fact that we had girls first,
Yeah.
and then y'all are having a girl or y'all are having a boy next, and y'all already found out, which is freaking awesome. And
Yeah. But
I mean,
it kinda-
golly,
it
kinda
I got,
hits
I
you
got
with
stuck
both
thinking about
sides.
that. That's
Yeah.
freaking awesome. Y'all
I mean-
gonna have a
this is my personal opinion, and
Yeah.
it could be different from everyone else's, but like I feel like a girl, like being a girl dad, teaches you how to be more kind, more like apologetic, like
Yeah.
like
No,
more
for
more
sure.
more care for the world, like
no, what's the word? Communical.
Yeah.
Communal.
communicative.
yeah.
I think
Like-
I think
Communicative is
men in a
there's a better
general
word for
sense
it.
have this almost prideful aspect that they'll refuse to talk to others
But
about.
I just
about
want to say this
emotion-
before. But look. Before this goes out, I just want to say this is the like out of all the podcasts, I think this is my favorite, just because of like what we're doing.
Is it because
here.
I'm here, or
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
Dalton,
the trio,
Micah,
the trio.
It's both
I'm
of y'all. It's we're just able to drink and not have to worry about it, and have a cigar, and it's fun. I feel like when I'm with my dad, it's still like I show
Yeah,
respect.
yeah, you have
Hold
to
back
restrain.
almost, yeah.
Hold back a little
Yeah.
bit, yeah.
So
but like
let me. Before,
This is awesome, and I just want to say before, like we may have to wrap it up quickly,
yeah, I got
depending
my,
on
my
like
wife
what
just
time.
gave me the wave.
Right.
from the window.
So I just wanted to say before we
Window
go,
wave.
like this is awesome, and
Yeah.
I appreciate y'all. And
No, I'd love to do it again.
let me
heck yeah, dude.
let
We
me
should
say
do
one
this all
thing
the
though
time.
before you head out. Like you were saying about understanding, like why would you want to give to someone else when you can build up your own family, and like how deep that question is, because I get it. I even give it to myself all the time. It's like, should I tithe? Should I tithe? Should I give money away? Like I need money.
Yeah, like
Everyone needs money.
Yeah.
Everyone does, and money is so powerful.
Should I tithe or should I just?
Yeah, and
hang on to
should I
that
trust
money
God?
Because
It's
should I
like,
trust God.
Should I
That's the
trust
question.
God or should I tithe? And it's like, trust God. Every time I've done it has worked for me. And everyone I know, every time they've done more than they can, or given more than they can, or done more for others than they've done unto themselves, they've received infinitely more than they ever could have asked for thereafter. And like the power behind tithing is just so ridiculous. Like it's
ridiculous.
almost a cheat code for life. It really is. It really is.
It's not like I gotta do this.
Yeah, it's not. I gotta do this.
get-
It's like I get to do this, and it's
I
like
get to.
you feel a sense of joy, and it's like sometimes giving it into the offering plate. It's like, yeah, whatever. It's just going into the infinite oblivion. I'll never know what was done with my money. It's just a fraction of what was given by an audience of people. But it's like sometimes you find a family in need, and you get that sweet opportunity to give them $100 to pay for groceries or something like that they really needed that month and they didn't have the money for, and the sense of peace and calming that comes thereafter. But it doesn't always have to be money. Like for my case, when that event happened to me and how deep it was, the guy that did those things,
I gotta use the bathroom. I'll be right
you're
back.
good. I could go and grab a beer with him tomorrow. Grab a beer with him, sit down, pay for his meal and not even care. For him, not for me, but for him, knowing that those could have been felony, criminal charges. He could spend years in prison or in jail or hours and hours in the courtroom spread over 6 months or more. Relief was given unto him, not unto me, because I still have to deal with those things. My mother saw me beaten to a bloody pulp. That's the worst thing a mother can ever go through, is to see their child beaten and destroyed and utterly defeated. Mentally, physically, in whatever other sense. I mean, you have your own daughter. Could you imagine him being bruised and beaten and bloodied? And how impactful that would be for you personally.
Yeah.
Now, I can forgive them what they did for me. But unto them, my mother and my father, what they had to see that day was very hard for them. Not just financially speaking. I had to get drugs to fix my face and my body and things like that. And it was expensive, and thankfully they're blessed and they were able to do so. And it's like, I could hold hatred and all these other things towards that person. Or I could be like Obi-Wan, so to speak, and still love that person in that moment for who they are. And I could be bigger than the situation is. And that in itself, it's not tithing, but it's a form of it. It's the same thing. So it's not just the money you give, it's the things you do. You can tithe with your time if you don't have the money. Go to church every Sunday. You wake up first thing in the morning, read the Bible for five minutes. Listen to worship on the way to work. You know, it doesn't always have to be money. It's just time, because God loves you. He wants to spend time with you. It's the same thing for him, as you could be spending 6 years or more, or whatever it is, in prison. Give him time to be out in the world, make money, and make something of himself. You know, not hold that against them. That's a form of it. And like, my thing is like, I don't envy a fictional character, but I do to a degree. It's like seeing that Obi-Wan still loved Anakin, even though he killed children and did all these bad things and was a traitor. It's so impactful, and it's like something that you almost wish to be, but at the same time you're like, I could never be that. All it takes is a choice. That's really all it takes.
Hey, we're leaving.
But I
this
think that's
isn't
going to
even-
be wrapping things up.
That'll definitely do it.
The women have come to claim the men, and
That'll do it.
that's the end of
Yep.
it. Sorry to leave things so deep, and there we go. That's the
Next
end.
time.
See you next time.
Oh, Macy's gonna kill me.
I'll see you, man.